Wait, is this the right one? 90. Yes, I guess so. Ah, yes, because I didn't save once. Okay, yeah. Oh.
6年前のことか。
I completely forgot where we left off. It feels like it's been forever. See, here we are. And I have chat up. Everything is there. Hey, Chidoreen, thank you so much. Yeah. It was a little bit tiring, but it was good. So I'm happy to have gone, and I'm happy to have come back. Hey there, how are you? Return of the King. Oh, Jesus Christ. No. Oh, sorry. Nothing as fancy as that, too. I do appreciate the sentiment, though. Let's see. 6 years ago. I completely forgot the context of where we were, but I'll remember as we go.
何しろ、6年って言ったら、小学校丸々一つ分じゃねえか。覚えてろってのが酷な話だぜ。
そうだね。特に若かった僕たちにとっては、大きな成長の6年間だったはずだからね。案外、自己紹介がなかったら思い出せなかったんじゃないかい？
そうかな。私はバトラだってすぐに分かったぜ。口を聞いてさらに確信できたぜ。
おお、マリア、初めて会った。6年前わかんない。
そうですよね。マリア様はまだ3つでしたものね。
それを言われたら俺もだぜ。3歳の頃しか知らないマリアが、こんなに大きく成長してるんだから、そりゃわからねえわけだぜ。
After lunch, we had all gone out to the beach to walk around, talk, and take it easy, enjoying ourselves. Aww. It kind of gives me like a little pang in my heart, like having these like chill moments between cousins, because it feels like it's been so long, and also I know something bad is it's gonna happen. It's like right around the corner. I can't fully enjoy the peacefulness of it. Our parents appeared somehow on edge and seemed to have things to catch up on, so we had decided to leave our seats. Just as you'd expect, since it had been 6 years, the conversation focused on me.
しかし、本当に背が伸びたね。僕も低いつもりはないけど、とにかくその身長には驚いたよ。
そうですね。6年前のバトラ様をよく覚えておりますが、それでも驚くくらいでした。
だなぁ。6年前のバトラからは想像がつかないくらいだったぜ。
みんな、案外6年も前のことなんか覚えてるもんだな。俺なんかかなり記憶があやふやだってのによ。
だろうな。私たちのことを思い出すのに少し時間をかけてたみたいだもんな。あれはちょっと傷つくぜ。い
や、さすがに6年前だぜ。覚えてろって方が無理があるぜ。
6年前のことですと、あまり覚えてはおられないのですか？私は、つい昨日のことのように鮮明に覚えておりますが。
シャノンは記憶力がいいからね。6年前にバトラ君がどんなことをしていたとか、言っていたとか、よく覚えてるんじゃないかい？
そういや、そうだよな。シャノンって妙なところで記憶力がいいんだよな。
マリア、覚えるの下手くそ。楽しいことはスイスイ覚えるけど、つまんないのは全然ダメ。
We all laughed, saying that everyone was like that.
シャノン、ちなみに6年前のバトラはどんなだったんだ？何かエピソードを覚えてないのかよ。
そうですね。確か、お帰りの際はこうおっしゃっていました。また来るぜ、See you again。きっと白馬にまたがって迎えに来るぜ。
ギャー！ラーメン！渦風！
actually quite cute. Like, it's much less cringe than his sexual innuendo jokes that he makes right now. Like,
確かにそんな感じだった。6年前のバトラはそんな感じのバカっぽいセリフばかり言ってたぜ。
確かに当時のバトラ君がいかにも言いそうだな。
おー、恥ずかしい恥ずかしい
ああ、最高に恥ずかしいぜ。
Hey Piochin, nice to have you around. Welcome, welcome.
マリアもきっと中学くらいになったらそういう恥ずかしいことが口にしたくなるからね。そういう時は口に出す前にチラシの裏に書いて3度読み直してから口にすべきかどうか考えるんだぞ。じゃねえときっと後悔するからな。
I mean, it sounds like something you should be applying on a daily basis yourself.
いや、誰しもがそういう痛々しい時代をくぐり抜けていくのだ。そうさ。そして身の程を知り、恥を覚えて大人になるんだ。そうさ。これは大人への過渡期なら、誰もが犯す青春の甘酸っぱくて恥ずかしい消し去りたい記憶なんだ。うわー、ぐわー。
You see, I tend to let my mouth run wild without thinking too much, so I don't remember all the details of everything I say. But when the contents are recited back to me afterwards, it's always something extremely embarrassing. In recent years, I have finally come to understand this weakness, and have been working hard to refrain from such careless outbursts, but it seems I was just born with the habit of speaking without thinking, and there isn't a whole lot I can do about it. Hey there, how's it going?
シャーノン、他にも何か恥ずかしいことは覚えてないのかよ。
まあ他にもいろいろと覚えておりますけれど。
Spill it, Shannon, I wanna know.
ご本人もお忘れになりたいことみたいなので、これ以上は遠慮させていただきたいと思います。
I wanna know.
ぶっちゃけると、俺はもう何も覚えてないんだ。頼むから思い出させないでくれ。
おお、シャノンがバトラーをいじめてる？おお、ダメ、いじめはいけないの。
別にいじめてるわけじゃないんだよ。この話はこれくらいにしようか。でもシャノン、後でバトラ君のいないところでこっそり教えてね。なんだか面白そうだから。
はい、かしこまりました。
そりゃねえぜ、シャノンちゃんよ。
For a while, George and Nikki teased me by pretending to ask Shannon-chan for more of my embarrassing misspeaks. Misspeaks? I don't think they were misspeaks. I think you were pretty intentional in what you said at the time. George and Nikki was messing around, teamed up with Shannon-chan. But he seemed, how to describe it, very candid and frank. He was always frank with his cousins, but he usually took on a reserved, gentlemanly attitude when he came in contact with the servants. When I thought about it, I got a feeling that he was acting a little overly familiar, which seemed slightly weird. Maria started scribbling in the sand with a stick, and George, Nikki and Shannon-chan joined in, which left me and Jessica off to the sides. So I asked her secretively.
Yo, Jessica. ジョージの兄貴ってさ、シャノンちゃんと付き合ってたりする？
Even someone as thick-headed as Battler picks up on that. Good job, my friend.
おお、なんでわかったんだよ。バトラー、お前見かけより人を見てんな。
俺冗談で言ったつもりだったんだけど、本当に付き合ってんのかよ。
I gave him too much credit.
声が大きいって。一応内緒の付き合いってことらしいぜ。特にエヴァおばさんの耳には入れない方がいいよ。
使用人との恋か。 いや、でも、いつの間に？はあ、6年ってすげえな。でも、確かに兄貴なら人間もできてるし、シャノンちゃんも優しくて海外しそうだし、お似合いかもな。
Actually, 6 years ago, I remember taking notice of her just a little bit. So that's how it is. She really fits well with George Aniki. Nothing I can do about that. Goodbye, my fleeting first love of 6 years ago. Which means that my collection of embarrassing lines that Shannon-chan just held back on probably has something to do with that. Ah, I can't take it. Ah, so he was saying all of this stuff that was like extra corny because he had the maybe tiny little inception of a crush. Oh.
兄貴たち、付き合ってどのくらいになるんだ？
He just goes and asks directly.
どの段階から付き合ってると呼ぶのかにもよるだろうけど、確実に1年以上は続いてると思うぜ。双方片思い時代を含めると数年になるんじゃねえのかな。
Before I'd realized it, the two of them had separated themselves from the group and were walking down the beach talking about something. They looked calm, and rather than a light relationship between two lovers, it looked more like a serious relationship, as though they were already engaged. And can you gauge all of that just by how two people walk on the beach?
6年か。でっけえ月日だな。俺にとってのこの6年は何だったんだ？図体がでかくなっただけだな。親父との親子喧嘩で意地を張り合ううちに6年も経っちまったってだけの。
バートラの方こそどうなんだよ。彼女とかできたのかよ。
さて、どうだろうな。
In the 80s of Japan, somewhat. Okay, yeah, I keep forgetting to put it in the context of the time sometimes. Yeah, okay, yeah, I guess so.
一緒に遊ぶ女の子は何人かいるぜ。だけど、オンリーワンって関係はまだねえな。
A lot of girls that I play with. What does that mean?
俺がお子様なんだろうよ。誰かと二人っきりでいるより、みんな大勢でワイワイやってる方が楽しいように思えるんだ。
ああ、そりゃなんともバトラらしいぜ。でも、女友達との関係はちゃんとしっかりしておけよ。女の思い込みとコミュニティは怖えぜ。勝手にバトラをめぐって暗闘が繰り広げられて、勝手に誰かが泣いたり傷ついたりしているかもしれないぜ。
おかしいな。同じ忠告をつい先週クラスの女から受けた気がするぜ。なんだってんだろうな。どうしてみんなで楽しく過ごせねえんだ。そうまでしてつがいになりたいのかね。
Yeah, I was also thinking about it because I think I've heard it in context where it's just like going out and having fun, not necessarily playing in terms of like kids playing. Yeah, I guess it wasn't the best choice of words in the translation then.
バトラがまだそういう相手に会ったことがねえからだろうぜ。まあ、おいおいそういう女に出会うこともあるだろうよ。気長に待つこったな。
なんだよ。まるでお前にはもうそういう相手がいるみたいな言い方じゃねえかよ。お前はどうなんだよ。彼氏とかできたのかよ。
え？私かよ。いや、
なんつうわかりやすい反応だよ。見たところ気になる男はいるけどまだ告白もできてねえってそういうところだろ。
いや、そういうわけでは
Since when is Battler so insightful?
先生、私のことなんかどうでもいいだろ。
Jessica.
話を振ってきたのはそっちのくせになんで俺が逆ギレされなきゃならねえんだ。女って生き物は質問ばかりでそのくせ自分が質問に答えることは決してないんだよな。ずるい生き物だぜ。
まあ、そのよ、告白はさ、まあ、盛大に空振りでさ。
ごめんなさい。ってか？
いや、まあ、私がすごく一方的だったんで、面食らわれたというのかな。そういう対象だとも思われてなかったという雰囲気。
そりゃあそうだろうよ。お前の言葉遣いは男勝りだからな。もうちょいおしとやかにしないと男心をくすぐらないぜ。
いや、やっぱり私みたいな言葉遣いじゃ受け悪いかな。
まあ言葉遣いが全てじゃないだろうが、お前みたいな普段の言葉遣いが悪いやつが急にまともな言葉で話すように努力し始めたら、そういう気概みたいなもんでドキッときちまう男もいるかもな。
I don't think this particular guy needs that.
そうなんだ。そうか。
Jessica had suddenly started speaking meekly and was faintly blushing. I see, even though her confession didn't go well, it looks like she still hasn't given up. But yeah, I totally get that. After seeing how close George Aniki and Shannon-chan have gotten, it's no wonder she'd start wanting a boyfriend. 6 years. Those 6 years of puberty are pretty important, and they go by so fast. With the typhoon approaching, the clouds had grown steadily grayer, and yet, even so, I had this really refreshing feeling. Maybe I'll start thinking... I just saw the word boobs under thinking and I couldn't... Oh god, what is he gonna say? Maybe I'll start thinking more seriously about the opposite sex, more than just the size of their boobs. Okay, I endorse that. Please do.
ところで、ジョージの兄貴は使用人のシャノンちゃんと付き合ってるわけだが、まさかジェシカまでってことはないよな。
どうしてそう思うんだよ。
そういや、バラ庭園で挨拶したカノン君って若い子、口下手だからってジェシカやたらとかばってたよな。
いや、そんなことは勘繰りすぎだって。
じゃあさ、これだけは教えろよ。今この瞬間ジェシカが狙ってる男は半径1キロ以内にいるか？
いや、それはどうだろう。
Kanonkin is the only boy on this island now who could possibly become her boyfriend. So judging by her reaction, I'm probably right on. Since when is he so insightful? I don't think of the Ushiromiya family as a noble family, but two people in love with servants. Where are his deduction skills when he needs them? Yeah, I know, right? Right? I'd never have dreamed that two pairs of Romeo and Juliet would be right next to me. Auntie Eva will probably become an obstacle to George Aniki and Shannon-chan's love. If Auntie Eva learns that the partner of her only son, the apple of her eye, is Shannon-chan, she'd probably scream at her with cries of wretched servant, homewrecker, and so forth. And the relationship between Jessica and Kanon-kun will probably be just as full of difficulties. Aunt Natsuhi also seemed the type to be strict about that kind of thing. After all, Jessica's husband would probably become the head of the Ushiromiya family in the future. If that person had once been a servant working for the family, well, no doubt things would be complicated.
ま、人の恋路なんてそれぞれさ。一緒にいて楽しい相手とつがいになりゃいいじゃねえか。つがいってのは互いが互いを認め合う以外に何の許可もいりやしない。親がどうこう、家がどうこうなんて気にしたら負けだぜ。それを忘れるなよ。半端な気持ちで付き合うんじゃねえぜ。
恋もしたことねえくせに達観したようなことを言いやがって。
so cute.
恋は損得感情でするなよ。
There's just something in the voice acting for Jessica when she's like pouting or like being embarrassed or something. It's just so sweet. I love hearing it.
ハートでしろよ。俺が言いたいことはそんだけさ。んじゃな。See you again. Have a nice day!
長寿兄さん、シャーノン、聞いて聞いて。パートだったらこいつまた面白いセリフを言い出したぜ。
何も言ってないって、何も言ってないって。ああ、茶化すな茶化すな。
マリア聞いてた、マリア聞いてた。 See you again! See you again!
For a while, we forgot about the wind getting stronger and played around on the beach. Aww. This meeting with my cousins, who had grown so much over the last 6 years and were thoroughly enjoying their youth, felt truly refreshing. It was a little late now, but I realized that I should have buried the hatchet a lot sooner and returned to the Oshiromiya family. Yeah, voice acting is top-notch. Across the board.
いとこ同士ってのもたまにはいいもんだな。
マリアもいとこで集まるの楽しくて好き。
そうだな。俺たちも別に親がいなくても会えるだろう。たまにはいとこだけで集まって遊ぶのも悪くないかもしれないな。
それはいい提案だね。いつかそういう機会を設けてもいいかもしれないね。
同感だね。私たちいとこはいつまでもずっと仲良しがいいよ。
おいおい、そこを強調するとまるで普段の親戚同士の仲が悪いように聞こえちまうぜ。
I mean, it's real though. It's true. Jojo and Jessica laughed, but it felt just a little strained. Yeah. Did I say too much? Judging by how our parents had made quiet expressions and tired faces every once in a while during the boat ride, and at the airport, maybe that was something I shouldn't have said.
そうだな。ジェシカの言う通りだぜ。俺たちはいつまでも仲良しでいようぜ。
マリアも一緒。みんな仲良し。
そうだね。うん。僕たちはいつだってみんな一緒だよ。みんな仲良しだよ。
My heart is breaking.
私たち何恥ずかしいこと言い合ってんだろうな。なんだか照れちまうぜ。
でもとても大切なことだと思いますよ。人は願わねばいつまでも一緒にいることどころか仲良くいることさえ難しい生き物なのですから。
そうだね。みんなが仲良くいられることを決して当たり前なことだと思ってはいけないね。
知り合いの魔女が言ってた。幸せはみんなが信じなくちゃ叶わないんだって。
確かにね。信じる力には魔法が宿るかもしれない。それを全員が信じたならきっと幸せを運んできてくれるだろうね。
よし、なら恥ずかしいことのついでだ。私たちはみんなで信じ合うと誓おうぜ。みんないつまでも仲良しでいつまでも幸せでいようって。
I feel like I could cry. Because I know that's not gonna happen. Screw becoming like our parents, searching for each other's weaknesses, going after grandfather's fortune. Screw all that forever.
俺たちはみんないつまでも仲良しで幸せだ。それをみんなで信じようぜ。
I'm literally tearing up. So sweet. But no matter how long it had been or how much fun we were having, it didn't stop the dark clouds from approaching Rokkenjima. Damn. I wonder if the typhoon will pass and show us the refreshing sky before we leave this island. Who gives a crap about what our parents are plotting? Who gives a crap about the inheritance and the honor of our old family? We're so young and renewing our old friendship, and every one of us believes together that we can all be happy. So, I want this day to end without anything weird occurring, in peace and happiness, calmly. No, not I want it to end. Please let it end. Oh god. Oh god. The controller just vibrated so violently. I did not expect it. Oh Jesus Christ, okay, yes, back. Feature, okay, yes. ははは。あいやいやい。
くっしゃー、お前は出るなよ、現れるなよ、くそくそくそー。
待たせたな。ようやく新しいゲームの用意が整ったぞ。さあさあ始めようではないか。惨劇の物語を訪れよ。雨よ、風よ、台風よ、この島をうつしおより切り離す。異界へ魔界へ幻想界へ六軒島を放り込め。
And so the tale repeated for the third time. However, before the endless switch, what point was there in counting 1, 2, 3? There was probably no point at all. After all, this tale of fantasy would be repeated endlessly until the match was settled, and either battler or the witch surrendered. And the sky grew dark and cloudy, the rain and wind were summoned together and became a typhoon. And Maria could be seen in the rose garden paying no mind to the rain that had started falling, going around in circles searching for that single rose which she had surely marked. Aww.
目印をつけたマリアのバラがない。
Maria definitely remembered it. That rose had been in the flower bed right here, and yet it wasn't. She didn't know what to do with her irritation at not being able to find something which should have been there. And moaning bitterly, she couldn't help but keep going back and forth in circles around the same spot. She was acting almost as though she would be able to see it if she looked at a different angle, but try as she might, there was no way she would find something that wasn't there. Just as a more of a funny aside, this is me when I don't remember where I put something around the house. Which I do constantly. Especially with my phone. I'm like, it should be here. Why isn't it here? I'm looking at an angle. I'm like, no, but here. But where? Why isn't it here? Yeah, that's me. The wind grew increasingly stronger and the rain turned into cold, large drops. There was no way Maria wasn't bothered by this. However, if she couldn't find her rose here, it would surely disappear forever. Maria believed that. That feeling spurred her on to keep searching for a rose that she had no chance of finding. Just then, the cold drops of rain that were tormenting Maria were suddenly blocked. Maria raised her head. When she did, she saw that an umbrella was open there, protecting her from the rain. And the one holding out that umbrella was... the witch she admired, Beatrice. Beatrice!
このような雨の中、何を必死になっているのやら。体を冷やせば風邪をひくこともあろう。魔女たるもの。自らの健康も気遣いたいものよね。
マリアのね、バラが見つからないの。何度探してもね、ここにあったはずなのに見つからないの。
Maria told Beatrice about how there had been a slightly unhealthy, beautiful rose, and that she was sure she had marked it.
ほうほう、それが見つからぬとね。そなたも魔女の見習いならば、魔法にてバラを探してみるとよい。目だけで探そうとするうちは、それにははるかに及ばぬであろうがな。
見つけられない。マリアも頑張って魔法で探そうとしてるけど、見つけられない。
魔法の修行にはちょうど良いかとも思うが、この風雨はそなたには少しきつかろう。わらわが特別に力を貸してやろう。弟子の身を案ずるのも師匠の役割だからな。あり
がとう、ベアトリーチェ。
Maria's face, which had been full of sadness until just now, split open into a grin. Maria knew. She knew that there was nothing Beatrice's magic couldn't do. So she was sure that Beatrice would easily be able to find a rose that she couldn't find herself. Beatrice closed her eyes lightly, acting as though she was listening for something in all of this wind and rain. Then she heard it, opened her eyes, and spoke.
商業無常よの。残念だな、マリア。この風雨に。そなたのバラは耐えられなかったらしい。
それじゃマリアのバラは
風雨に散り、すでにこの世のものではない。
What Beatrice had said was certainly plausible. There was nothing odd about the flower being broken off at the stem in this strong wind. However, Maria couldn't accept this and bitterly gave a low-pitched moan.
やだ。
ほう。
やだやだやだ。マリアのバラなの。マリアのバラが帰ってこないと嫌だ。マリアの魔法で生き返らせる。ベアトリーチェ、魔法でバラを蘇らせるのを教えて。
Okay, we're reviving things again.
無限の魔法の秘術。そなたごとき見習いにはまだまだ早いわ。身の程を知れ。
Maria wiped the tears from her eyes, full of regret. Seeing that expression, which so invited pity, Beatrice shrugged her shoulders and chuckled.
よかろう。バラを蘇らせる秘術。
本
当？うん。ではそなたの心の力を集中させるがいい。目を閉じ、雨を忘れ、風を忘れ、奉公するバラの魂を心の目で探すのだ。
Maria closed her eyes. Then she repeated Beatrice's poem-like words.
さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい、バラよ。そなたがどんな姿をしていたの？
さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい。バラよ、そなたがどんな姿をしていたのか。
見るの、聞くの、そして信じよ。肉の檻に閉じ込められし、魂の力を解放せよ。そう、よいぞ。
Around Maria, who was concentrating her power, her eyes tightly shut, small golden butterflies began to dance. Was this the manifestation of the magical power Maria held?
さまよいしバラの魂、今一度集う。そしてその姿を思い出すがいい。さあさあ集えよ。思い出せよ。
The glitter of the gold butterflies began to strengthen and their numbers increased. Then Beatrice raised a finger up to the skies, and they began to gather at the tip of that finger. This was the miracle of the golden magic, and the gold butterflies began to condense into a single dazzling grain of gold. It was a single seed glittering gold. It sat on the tip of Beatrice's finger, budded into a golden sprout, and opened into a golden leaf. It then slowly fell from that fingertip, sank into the mud of the flower bed, and began to grow steadily. Maria, who admired magic and witches, must have really wanted to see this fantastical sight. However, as an apprentice, Maria was still not qualified to see it. No, she was probably afraid that if she opened her eyes to look, the power of her heart's concentration would be interrupted and the magic would be lost. Therefore, it was Beatrice, the one permitted to lay eyes on that golden miracle, who was the one and only witch and the master of many miracles. Then the fully grown rose bloomed, creating one golden flower. And when Beatrice poked it with her finger, in just the right way, the gold-colored sparkles scattered, just as if a golden soap bubble had popped, and what remained was a single beautiful rose.
立 派な花を思い出したようだな。だがこのままでは他のバラたちに混じってしまい、もう一つサービスしておくか。
Beatrice, for the sake of her cute apprentice witch, who was moaning even more now in concentration, decided to cast one more little spell. I'm scared. What is this? She snapped her fingers, and a single gold butterfly appeared, fluttered around, and landed on the flower that had just been revived. And it suddenly burst open and disappeared, becoming golden lace and making the rose.
これでよかろう。マリア、もう目を開けてもよいぞ。
おー、バラはどこ？ない。
そっちではないぞ、こっちだ。ほれ。金モールで印をつけておいてやったぞ。
はあ、本当だ。すごい。
Seemingly wholesome moment happens. I'm scared. Yeah. I'm scared when Beatrice is wholesome. Because to me that's a sign she's plotting something. And I don't know what it is. Also, hi, Desaline.
なれるとも。かつてのわらわもまたそなたのように無邪気にそれを望み至ったのだ。
Maria was ecstatic over the revived rose, clapping her hands and jumping around in joy. Watching that, Beatrice also smiled, looking fairly pleased. Hey. Now, if I try, I can break or repair any soul, not just that of a rose, and kill and revive as I please. So, the barrier created by the storm has closed Rokkenjima off from the real world. Now is the time for the Golden Witch, the Endless Witch, Beatrice, to descend. Beatrice pulled from her pocket an envelope with a family crest, the one-winged eagle, and gave it to Maria. Maria frolicked around at being selected to be the witch's messenger.
さて金蔵、そなたの遊びに再び付き合いに来たぞ。わらわの準備はすでに万端よ。そなたの方はどうなのか。今宵のゲームにかけるコインの用意は十分であろうな。
無論準備は十分であるぞ、ベアトリーチェ。駒はふんだんに用意したぞ。備えも心構えも十分だ。さあアンティを支払おうではないか。そなたに授けられ、最後にはそなたに全て返すべきものだ。さあ受け取れい。
Kinzo flung the window of his study wide open, took off the reasonably large golden ring which had been on his finger, and threw it into the darkness of the raging wind and rain. Right. The ring was struck by lightning, and after twinkling gold for an instant disappeared. Kinzo watched it go, grinning broadly and fearlessly.
負ける気はせぬぞ。お前は私のものなのだ。永遠に。
Okay. Best boy in 3, 2, 1. The ring that Kinzo had thrown became a single gold butterfly and fluttered around in the wind and rain. It headed for the rose garden almost as though it was being guided there. It then found the figure of the Golden Witch and fluttered down. When it arrived right in front of Beatrice, it burst into a flash of gold and returned to its original form of a ring, flipping up into the air. It seemed as if it would simply fall back down into a puddle of water, but suddenly it stopped in midair, almost as if some transparent person had caught it. Somehow this seemed unexpected even to Beatrice. However, she soon realized who it was, and grinned broadly at it. As she did, the figure of the person who had caught the ring began to fuzzily appear. It was the figure of a young man wearing a butler's uniform embroidered with the one-winged eagle crest. There was no man like this among the servants who served the Ushiromiya family. Even so, Beatrice laughed as though it was someone she remembered fondly.
牢の上か。ずいぶん久しぶりになるな。わらわのことを覚えておったとは。そなたはつくづく忠義に熱い男よ。
長いご無沙汰を頂戴しておりました。
Oh, he has blue eyes.
このロノフへ、お嬢様にお仕えしていることを忘れた日など、ただの一日もございませんよ。
Okay.
それよりも、お嬢様にこそ、私をお忘れになられたのではないかと、ヒヤヒヤしておりました。何しろ、お嬢様は大層お忘れっぽくていらっしゃいますので。
なるほど。確かにわらわは忘れやすいようだ。そなたの皮肉を聞くまで思い出せぬとはな。
お嬢様、これを。
With an exaggerated yet elegant gesture, he bowed respectfully. Probably, but I'm struggling to put names and characters' faces to it. I'll get there though. But the way she pronounced his name, it sounds so similar to Genji's family name. I don't think there's a connection just based on that, but it just like took me there for a second. With an exaggerated yet elegant gesture, he bowed respectfully and held out to Beatrice the head's ring that he had just got.
後宮金蔵より返還されました。後宮家当主の指輪でございます。指輪は再び主のもとに。
うん。金蔵によるゲームの開始宣言。確かに受け取ったぞ。
You mean Suzumiya Haruhi? I have not watched that. Sorry.
さて、今宵はどのようなお遊びになさいましょうか。早速、ルーレットをご用意いたしましょうか。それとも、まずは紅茶をご用意いたしましょうか。
どちらにしようか迷うが、とりあえずそなたの挨拶が必要であろうな。あやつめ、開いた口が塞がらぬというような顔をしているに違いないぞ。なあ、バトラ。
はじめまして、自己紹介をいたします。ベアトリーチェお嬢様のおそばにてお使いしておりますロノウエと申します。どうぞよろしくお願い申し上げますよ。
ほらな、開いた口が塞がらないという顔であろう。
当たり前だろ。またこんなわけのわかんないやつが出てきやがった。
Thank you, Battler.
ヤギ頭が盆踊りを始めるのかとぼやいたら、ヤギ頭がうようよ現れて、太もも姉ちゃんたちが7人も出てきて、その上今度は羊まで出てきやがった。
Oh my god. Yes, Battler, please put it up there. All of my feelings that I cannot articulate, put them into words.
わけわかんねえよ。もういい加減にしやがれよ。
ところでバトラー、気づいていたか？こやつとそなたの対面だが、これが本当の悪魔の証明であることを気づいたかな？
悪魔の証明だと？
Umineko in a nutshell, yeah.
どういう意味だよ。
こやつはこう見えても72柱に名を連ねる生粋の悪魔でな。つまりわらわは悪魔を直接連れてきて、まさにその存在を証明してみせたわけ。
Yeah, sure.
ロノウェは地獄に爵位を持つ序列27位の大悪魔よ。 なかなかに使える男でな。高級で召し上げてわらわの世話をさせておるのだ。
ご紹介いただけまして光栄です。地獄の貴族に名を連ねと。今は卑しい人間の分際で悪魔も裸足で逃げ出すような大魔女であられるベアトリーチェ様の家具頭として使える身ですよ。
Wait. Vulgar human? Does that refer to Beatrice? I'm so confused about what this phrase means. So she's both a vulgar human and a great witch from whom even demons would flee in fear? Is that what it means? Am I reading this right? There it is, okay. He meant it.
何しろ口の減らぬやつでな。時に主への敬いを忘れるのがたまに傷よ。
Which totally will make sense. Okay, we have a profile. Okay, let's see. Ah, Ronoe. Yeah, I can read this katakana. I still remember. One of the 72 great demons serves a master in exchange for various forms of compensation. Presently has a contract with Beatrice as her butler, head furniture, has multiple underlings trained in housekeeping, and he himself is extremely capable as a butler. Employing him has become a kind of status in the high society of witches. Furthermore, the cookies he bakes are superb, and witches will often line up to demand them. Bake your own cookies, what the heck? Should possess enormous magical power, but as he always shows deference to his master, his power level is an unknown quantity. Okay. Sure, it didn't necessarily not make sense, but at the same time I don't think it really clarifies that much. Best Buy, okay. Bear likes him.
言葉遣いに関しましては契約書から漏れておりましたもので、そのように契約を変更いたしますか？
わらわも退屈せぬからそれでいい。
Beatrice turned her back to him, cackling. After bowing once to her back, Ranoe turned back to Butler and stuck out his right hand, showing off an innocent smile. Normally, this would mean that he was asking for a handshake. Ooh, cookies always make sense.
何の真似だよ。
私もお嬢様のわがままに振り回されている身です。その意味では私たちは良き友人になれるかと思いますよ。これは友情の握手です。もちろん悪魔の契約の締結を意味するものではありませんのでご安心を。
I would not do that.
悪いが俺はあんたの主と大喧嘩の真っ最中でね。俺が敵と握手をするのは雨の校庭でぶちのめし合って互いがボロボロになって交わせ青春ドラマみたいなシチュエーションの時だけさ。覚えておきな。
なるほど。バトラ様と握手を交わすには十分な雰囲気作りとふさわしい場、そして心に響く甘い言葉と肉体言語の交わし合いが必要ということですね。機会を見てその場を準備いたしましょう。私めもそういうシチュエーションは大好きでございますよ。
Laughing tauntingly, Ranoe whispered that to Battler, with his face so close that their noses were almost touching. Oh god, that's too close. Battler, his face turning red after getting so close to another of the same sex, pushed him away.
気色悪い野郎だぜ。なるほど。ベアとの執事にぴったりのやつだ。
His deep and smooth voice is such a pleasure to listen to, combined with his dry humor. He's very popular in the fan base. Yeah, all the respect for the voice actor though, it's great. Yeah. I just don't have no faith in the character, like, obviously. I'm like, on edge.
お褒めの言葉を賜れまして光栄です。私は紅茶には自信がございますので、ティータイムを楽しみにしていらしてくださいね。クッキーを焼くのが趣味でございますので、お茶菓子にもこうご期待をお願いいたします。
さすがは同性同士だな。打ち解け合うのが実に早い。焼けるぞ。
これはお嬢様に嫉妬させてしまい申し訳ございませんでした。お嬢様のお客人をこっそりつまみ食いなどいたしませんよ。それではこれより他の家具どもに再び家具頭に着任いたしましたことを挨拶してまいります。しばしの暇をお許しください。
権限しているのは雑用のヤギどもと儀式役の七姉妹だけだ。挨拶も楽に終わろう。
おや、あの賑やかな七姉妹たちですか。やんちゃ娘たちも少しはおしとやかに成長したでしょうか。
あれがおしとやかだってんなら俺はおしとやかの定義を疑うぜ。
そうでございますか。七姉妹どもとはもうお遊びになられたようですね。その表情から察するにどうやら相変わらずのやんちゃぶりのようだ。ベアトリーチェ様にお仕えするにふさわしい振る舞いをするようにといつも言っているのに困った子たちだ。
その意味でなら安心しろよ。実に主にぴったりなふさわしい振る舞いだぜ。
そなたも言うようになったな。しかし会話は相手を認めるということだ。わらわとの雑談に応じるようになったということは、そなたがわらわの存在を徐々に認め始めている証拠。
たとえお天道様が西から昇ることがあろうとも、絶対の絶対お前を魔女だと認定などしねえからな。泣いて俺の靴にキスしたらもうちょい前向きに検討してやってもいいぜ。
Even if Battler was bluffing, he still spoke forcefully, a fearless expression on his face. The witch and her butler snickered together, realizing that their guest had regained more than enough of his willpower to take on a new game, and that the preparations were complete. After Ronoe exchanged a few words with Beatrice, he bowed silently to Battler, scattered into gold butterflies, and disappeared.
賑やかになるのは実に嬉しいことだ。この島にたった一人閉じ込められ、己の力を取り戻せず、誰に話しかけることもできなかった日々のなんと退屈だったことか。
あの気持ち悪いやつがお前に似合いの執事だってことはよくわかった。だが教えろ、その執事がなぜ今頃になって現れた。権限しているのはヤギと七食いの姉ちゃんたちとかなんとか言ったな。どういう意味だ。
そなたは抗っておるが、わらわはれっきとした魔女だ。魔界に通じ人ならざるあまたの存在と交流を持っておる。
だろうな。お前の関係にはろくな連中がいねえぜ。ヤギの化け物に太もも姉ちゃんに、そして今度は悪魔の執事と来たわけだ。
Sexiest babes. I can't take it seriously.
まさかとは思うが、この調子でまだおかしな連中が増えるってんじゃねえだろうな。
わらわの荘厳なる黄金館に仕える家具どもと、そこへ遊びに来る悪魔たちがどれほどいると思っているのか。まだまだ訪れるぞ。いくらでも現れるぞ。黄金鏡の扉を開き、すべての家具たちを呼び戻し、わらわはこの六軒島に新たなる城を建てるのだ。
I've seen other translations going for busty Nessans, yeah.
そして懐かしき友人たちすべてを招き、三日三晩を飲み明かし踊り明かしてやるつもりよ。無論 金蔵の一族たち
Oh, hey.
招くつもりでいるぞ。
Anya? Is that what I should call you? I don't know, sorry if I'm mangling that, but hey. Welcome, and thank you for the follow.
望めばそなたもな。
つまりこういうことか。お前は長いこと力を失っていたため、そいつらを呼び出せなかったと。それで、徐々に魔力が回復してきたため、次々化け物を呼び出せるようになったと。そう言いたいわけか。
そういうことだ。そなたは最後の一戦でこそギリギリ踏みとどまっているが、その心はすでにぐらつき、わらわが魔女であることを否定できずにいる。その心のぐらつきが、わらわの魔女としての力を少しずつ蘇らせているのだ。
あの気色悪い執事が現れたのは、俺が屈しかけているからだというのかよ。
そうだ。そなたは少しずつわらわに屈している。前回のゲームではあれほどの屈辱を受けてまでわらわに屈服したではないか。そなたの背中はわらわの足を投げ出すには本当に良いものだったぞ。
We will never outlive that, will we?
ちくしょう。俺はお前を認めさえしなければ現状は維持できると思っていた。だがそれはどうやら誤解だったらしいな。
そうだ。そなたが屈服に近づけば近づくほどゲームはわらわに有利に傾いていく。チェスだってそうであろう。互いのキングを詰め合う過程でわらわたちは様々な駒を取り合っている。確かにわらわは未だそなたのキングを追い詰めてはおらぬ。しかしそなたはキングを逃すのに精一杯でいくつもの大駒を失い、後の展開がわらわに有利に傾くのは当然のことよ。そなたはおそらくこれからも死に物狂いでわらわのチェックメイトだけからは逃れるだろう。だがその間にもわらわはそなたの大駒を次々に奪っていく。やがてはキング以外の全てを失い、どのような形でも逃れることのかなわぬ本当のチェックメイトを受けることになろう。前回そなたは気焰を吐いたな。わらわを永遠に認めぬ以上、これはわらわを苛む永遠の拷問だなどと。永遠を語るのは無限の域に達した魔女だけよ。そなたにその資格など初めからないわ。
はい。
黄金の隠し場所については、すでに金蔵様が私の肖像画の下に碑文にて公示されております。条件は、碑文を読むことができるものすべてに公平に、黄金を暴けたなら、私はすべてをお返しするでしょう。それではどうか今宵を、金蔵様との知恵比べにて、存分にお楽しみくださいませ。今宵が知的かつ優雅な夜になるよう心よりお祈りいたしております。黄金のベアトリーチェ。
But Maria finished reading the letter that Beatrice had handed her. Everyone was at a loss for words for a while, and then they all broke the silence at once.
バカバカしい、取るに足らない悪質ないたずらです。
Oh, Natsuhi. Oh, we haven't heard your voice in so long.
まったくだ。
Same for Kraus, but I didn't miss him.
親父殿が当主の指輪を手放すなどありえるわけがないじゃないか。
Or actually, we got like a past Kraus version in last stream, yeah.
ベアトリチェ。
その名を語れば右往左往するだろうという見えすいたいたずらだ。
おいおい、このちょいとパンチの効きすぎたデザートを仕込んだのは誰なんだ？今なら喝采で褒めてやるから正直に白状しろよ。ローザか？
とんでもない。お父様の名を語るいたずらなんてしません。
じゃあ姉貴か？兄貴か？
私？バカ言ってんじゃないわよ。兄さんでしょ、こういう悪趣味な仕掛けは。
愚弄する気か。私こそお前たちに問いたい。このたちの悪いいたずらは誰の仕業なんだ。
Kraus beat the table and stared at everyone. Since that included the children too. He scared them greatly.
お父様から財産の全権を任せられたと称する謎の人物からの手紙。そして今日がそれを話し合うための親族会議であることを考えると、いたずらだと決めつけるのも早計だと思う
わ。わからんで。まさにお父さんの悪趣味ないたずらかもしれん。自分抜きで遺産分配の話をまとめようとしているわしらをちょいと驚かせたくて仕組んだことかもしれん。
こいつを仕組んだのが親父だってんだ。今マリアちゃんが読み上げた内容は冗談ってわけにはならねえぜ。
そうね、文面通りに解釈するならこれはお父様からのテストね。魔女の碑文は私たち誰にでも解けるようにずっと広間に掲示されていた。告示期間は十分。最初に解けた人間に家督と全ての財産を渡すと、そう言っているわけよね。
ほら、私たちの魔法叶ったわ。
そんなバカな話はありません。後宮家の次期当主が夫であることは何ら揺るがない事実です。
それを揺るがすのがこの手紙じゃない。この手紙はお父様に財産の全てを全権委任された人物からのメッセージなのよ。もはや兄さんの当主継承権は白紙に戻ったわ。魔女の碑文を解いた者が、ベアトリーチェの黄金を見つけた者が後宮家の次の当主になるのよ。
バカバカしい。その手紙のざれ言を信用するのかね。その風浪が本物だとでも信用などできるものか。
ならお父様に直接話を聞いてみましょうよ。もう機嫌が悪いからとか体調が悪いとかそんな次元じゃないわよ。この手紙はお父様の代理人であることを風浪でちゃんと示してる。それを疑うなら兄さんが証明しなさいよ。この手紙がお父様の意志のものではないって。
よかろう。お前の言う通りだ。もう親父の機嫌不機嫌の問題ではない。上へ行き直接問いただそうじゃないか。
そうしようぜ。親父に直接聞こう。親父も親父だぜ。どうしてこんな回りくどい真似を。まあそこが親父らしいんだがな。
お父様の手紙だということを前提に話を続けてもいいのかしら。
バカローザ
Oh god. Oh my god. It's one thing to not agree with what she's saying and another to react like this. Jesus Christ.
お父様の手紙に決まってんでしょ。あの手紙はお父様のなのよ。次期当主を私たち4人の中から選ぶための公平なチャンスに決まってるじゃない。バカ死ね、この役立たず。
ほんとローザって頭悪いわ。へそでも噛んで死んじゃえ
ば。ごめんなさい。そうよね。ごめんなさい。
Any bit of empathy that I had gained towards Eva or towards Eva in the previous stream, I feel like she just killed it. Like, we're back to square one. We don't like Eva. Oh my god. In the beginning, the adults had all doubted the authenticity of the letter. But after just now realizing that this was a once-in-a-lifetime chance for the 3 siblings other than Kraus in the struggle for the inheritance, Eva had changed her position and had claimed that the letter was authentic. Yeah. It's like she's projecting, yeah, you think? Rudolph and Rosa also realized that and agreed.
まったく、そんなくだらないいたずらを大の大人がこれほどまで真に受けるとは、お父様でなくても呆れたい気持ちよくわかります。
夏日さん、それはお父さんに聞けば済む話やないか。お父さんがその手紙は知らんって一言言ってくれれば済む話やで。
兄さん、責任を持ってその手紙は知らないという一言を引き出すのよ。機嫌が悪そうだからってビビってる場合じゃないんだからね。
いい年してお父様が怖いなんてバッカみたい。へそかんで死んじゃえば。
はっきり白黒をつけようじゃないか。今頃は書斎で食事中だろう。一度箸を休めてもらおうじゃないか。
決まりだな。行こう。キリエはちょっと待っててくれ。真偽を確かめてすぐ戻る。
ありがとう。ゴーダさんがデザートを持ってくるのをのんびり待ってるわ。
The 4 siblings, Natsuhi and Hideyoshi, all stood from their seats forcefully and flew out into the hallway with a clatter. So much for being adults. Oh my god. Afterwards, the only ones left were the children, stunned completely speechless, Nanjo, who looked uncomfortable, and Kirie shrugging her shoulders. Oh my gosh. Maria, who had been at the center of all this turmoil, looked a little scared at the adults' sudden change. However, judging from her appearance, she didn't look like she realized the full significance of what she had just read out.
何事だってんだよ。わけわかんねえぜ。
どいつもこいつもクソったれだ。
Nanjo has it really rough. He's just there for the food. Yeah.
そんな兄さんが欲しいかよ。
みんな、これは親たちの問題なんだ。僕たちには関係ない。だから気にしちゃダメだ。
そうは言ってもよ。ああもうあからさまに。
見損なったぜ。
Yeah, I mean, there were plenty of moments, especially in the first episode, where they were trying to keep up at least some sort of appearance in front of the children, and before diving into anything that's like too, you know, conflict prone or something along those lines, they would kind of like send them away or go to a separate room or something. But now they're just like no, all just like full steam ahead.
欲の皮が突っ張ってやがる。
おい、みんなで幸せになるって信じ合わないとダメ。
そうだね。僕たちはみんなで約束したもんね。ほら、バトラ君もジェシカちゃんも。
I mean, that was a promise that involved you children, not the adults.
最悪の気分だぜ。
Hurts even more because we saw how much Eva suffers over the thought that she might be utilizing George in a very wrong way. Yeah, in these moments I feel like there's like, in each and every single one of them, there's like this almost animal instinct that comes out and takes over. We couldn't accept it at all, but we laid down our arms for the time being. We had known vaguely how filthy the family conference was going to be this time. However, after that 6-year blank, I couldn't help being shocked. Seeing that the children were completely dejected, Dr. Nanjo cleared his throat uncomfortably.
大人の話です。お若い皆さんとは関係のないことですよ。
I mean, it actually does, because at least Jessica is supposed to inherit something, right? So it kind of like affects her life.
忘れてしまいましょう。
それができりゃやってるぜ。
辛いのはわかるわ。
Or not inherit, but like take over, right? There's this expectation of her to do it.
でも今は忘れてあげて。あなたたちの将来を少しでも豊かにするため、みんなの両親は必死で戦ってるのよ。
The deeper we get into this story, the more difficult it is to put that spin on it, though.
そしてやがて傷つき帰ってくるお父さんたちをどうかそんな冷たい目で迎えないであげて。
Kinzo should write a book about how not to raise children. Yeah, everything Kinzo did, we should just do the opposite. Yeah, Kiria is being very level-headed and actually being the adult, actually showing concession and kindness towards the others, but it's difficult.
いくらキリエさんの頼みでも、それは難しいぜ。
Yeah, it's a hard one.
そう割り切れるなら子供なんてやってねえぜ。
おーい、みんな幸せ。暗くなるのダメ。信じて。みんなで幸せになれるって信じないと幸せが逃げちゃう。みんなで信じないとダメなの。
いい話ね。私も信じるわ。私たちは幸せになれるわよ。
キリエおばさん、ありがとう。バトラとジェシカお姉ちゃんも信じて。ベアトリーチェも信じないと魔法が力を持たないっていつも言ってる。
Kiria-san rose from her seat quietly, went over to Maria, and crouched down so that their eyes met.
おー、キリエおばさんが信じてくれた。あと、バトラとジェシカお姉ちゃんが信じないとダメ。
二人とも強いもの。すぐに元気になってそうしてくれるわよ。それより教えてほしいの。
When Kiria-san said that, Jessica, George Aniki, Dr. Nanja, and I all listened closely. It looked like our parents' minds had been filled by thoughts of grandfather and the inheritance problem, but we wanted to ask Maria about something simpler.
何？
マリアちゃんにその手紙を渡したのって誰？
ベアトリーチェ。
肖像画に書かれている魔女の？
うん。傘と一緒にこの手紙もくれたの。そしてね、マリアのバラが折れちゃってたのを魔法で直してくれたの。ベアトリーチェは何でもできるすごい魔女なの。
詳しく聞かせてくれるかしら。
Yeah, Kiria knows exactly how to approach situations with like calm, actually adult attitude. Without getting too hot-headed or jumping in too fast. I like her. Without even being allowed to wait for dessert, we were chased out of the room. I heard that in the end our parents were unable to get grandfather to respond. Well, I'm not sure I should be saying this, but I feel like grandfather deserves a pat on the back. He had to be feeling pretty satisfied with the shock his strange letter had given to his children, who had all been so infatuated with distributing the inheritance while he was still alive. I too felt like our despicable parents had gotten what they deserved in all of this confusion. But I couldn't really say that I was feeling great. I felt all sulky. Grandfather hadn't entertained them for a moment, but he also apparently hadn't denied anything about the letter. Grandfather's name pops up several times in the witch's letter. If Grandfather knew that someone was stealing his name, then considering his character, he would probably be mad with rage. But even though Grandfather now knew the contents of that letter, he had coolly ignored it. In this case, did that count as a silent yes? Auntie Eva and Dad had been trying to interpret the letter in their favor, their greed clearly visible. It wouldn't have mattered so much if that was all, but the adults had then started focusing on Maria, who had received the letter. They kept pounding her with questions about who had given her that letter. Maria repeated over and over again that she had gotten it from Beatrice, but there was no way a mysterious person like that could be mixed in with the others on this island. After all, this is a small island where no one lives except the Ushiromiya family. Maria kept repeating that she had gotten it from Beatrice no matter how many times she was asked. It seemed that the adults felt that she was trying to trick them, so they didn't hold back and questioned her until she broke out in tears. By the time Maria was released, she had cried herself to the point of exhaustion. Our parents ordered us to go to the guest house and take Maria with us. Yeah, all the pets to her. Then shut themselves up in the dining hall and started getting louder and louder as they discussed the inheritance. It seemed that because of that strange letter, the possibility had arisen that Uncle Krause's ability to become the next head could be returned to a blank slate, and in exchange for accepting him, my dad and the rest were trying to swindle Uncle Krause out of a lot of money, or something like that. Yeah, pretty much, that's a good summary of what's happening. Jessica and I, both astonished, were happy to move over to the guest house. We didn't want to be under the same roof as those filthy adults, their heads so filled with thoughts about money. Georgianiki pleaded on behalf of our parents, saying that he wanted us to understand them. I understood his reasoning. No matter how filthy this stock of money was, it wouldn't go away if you just closed your eyes to it. But even so, how could they so blatantly degenerate into such money-grubbing demons? Maria had cried herself dry and was hiding in her bed. She hadn't even twitched for a while, so she was probably sleeping.
Maria ちゃんは一体誰にあの手紙をもらったんだろうね。
ジョージ兄さん、それはもう聞いちゃダメだぜ。マリアがベアトリーチェにもらったって言うなら、それでいいじゃねえかよ。
これ以上、マリアを泣かせたくないしな。
That said, even we felt a confusion that we couldn't clear away.
この島には今18人しかいないんだよ。そこにこの雨の中、未知の19人目がマリアちゃんに手紙を託して今もどこかに隠れているというのは正直現実的ではないね。
おそらくあの肖像画のドレスをシャノンあたりにでも着てもらってうまくマリアと口裏を合わせたってことじゃねえのかな。もっともマリアの場合、あのドレスを見たらそれだけでベアトリーチェだと信じちまいそうだけどな。
誰が渡したかなんてどうでもいい問題かもしれないな。大事なのは差出人だろう。要はじい様が黄金の魔女の名を語って一波乱を起こしたかったってことなんだぜ。まったく人騒がせなじじいだぜ。
The truth was probably that our occult-loving grandfather was playing around. By choosing a dramatic way of handing the letter over to Maria, who shared the same hobby as he did. Paying no heed, though, to the trouble it would cause Maria, or the rest of us.
たく、マリアの純真な心をもてあそびやがって。手紙を渡したのが誰でもいいさ。マリアがベアトリーチェにもらったって言うんだから、そういうことにしてやろうぜ。
同感だよ。そうしよう。子供にとってのサンタクロースみたいな存在が、マリアちゃんにとってはベアトリーチェなんだろうね。
いない19人目もサンタクロースも俺たちが認めてやれば、それは少なくともマリアの中ではいるということになるわけだ。なるほど。子供の夢を守るための嘘って大事だな。お、どうしたんだよ、ジェシカ。まだ腹を立ててるのかよ。
Jessica had her hand on her chin, as though there was something that she just couldn't understand. When I called out to her, she came to her senses.
ああ、ごめん。いやさ、マリアが会ったのは本当にベアトリーチェだったってことがあるんじゃないかな。
A 3-hour-long discussion about the 19th person. Okay, let's go.
そりゃどういう意味だよ。この島に19人目の人間がいるって言いたいのか？
マリアちゃんの言うことを心から信じたなら、そういう答えに行き着くだろうね。
いや、そういうのじゃなくて、昔からこの島には私たちの知らない誰かが住んでるんじゃないかって話はあったんだよな。
住んでるってどこに？
森の中にさ。
The adults were gathered in the dining hall, spending a very long time continuing the discussion that had been started by Beatrice's letter. Kraus strongly claimed that the letter was a simple prank, but he couldn't overturn the claim that Kinzo's failure to deny the letter was answer enough. Judging by Kinzo's character, if he knew that a letter had been written by someone else in his name, he would be mad with rage. Since all of the siblings knew that, Kraus had no choice but to withdraw his claim. But that's the best part, oh god. Without even having to summarize it, the contents of the letter were simple. The person who solved the witch's epitaph would receive the headship and assets. This did a lot of damage to Kraus, who was thought to have been guaranteed the succession. And for everyone else who had given up on that long ago, it was better news than they could ever have hoped for. However, there were some points that worried them. The person who solved the epitaph was not limited to a member of the Ushiromiya family. Taken literally, anyone, no matter how doubtful their origin, could succeed to the Ushiromiya family. And isn't that more or less what Kinzo did? And furthermore, this meant there was a chance that all of the Ushiromiya family's assets could be stolen by some unknown person. In that sense, it was definitely not a situation where anyone could lower their guard, even the siblings other than Kraus. Had this letter come from a saboteur sent by Kinzo, who called themselves Beatrice? Or was this the scheme of some unknown person trying to steal the Ushiromiya family's wealth? They still didn't know the truth, but they could say one thing for certain. Maria had received this problematic letter today, on this island. In other words, someone who was planning something related to that letter was on this island today. Was the person who set it up Kinzo, one of the 4 siblings, or maybe some unknown person? No matter how much they suspected each other, they couldn't reach a conclusion. After getting tired of bickering with each other, they finally reached the extremely obvious conclusion that doubting each other was just a waste of time.
Ratchiがあかんね。無駄な時間を費やしたものだよ。
そうね。兄さんが気づいてくれるだけでこれ以上を浪費しなくて済むわ。
手紙の差出人がお父様と確定したわけではありませんよ。会話の成り立たないあなたに主人が呆れ果てただけです。
会話が成り立たないのはどっちよ。私が何か言うたびにあなたは怒鳴ってばかり。そんな無様で後ろ宮家にふさわしいと本気でお思いなのかしら。
予算かエヴァ。夏井さんも一度終わった話やで。
一度ここで頭を冷やさない？冷たいものでも持ってきてもらいましょうよ。
そうね。頭を冷やした方が賢明そう。
Oh god. I was kind of bracing for people to start yelling at Rosa again, but maybe with Kirie on her side, it's not gonna happen.
あなたもそろそろ一服したくなってきたんじゃない？
姉貴の機嫌が悪そうだからな。一服の方は遠慮するぜ。だが冷たい方は賛成だ。ローザ、誰かに水を持ってこさせてくれ。水差しごとね。
Okay, at least. Rosa headed over to the extension telephone in the corner of the room and called the servant room. She then passed on what Rudolph had told her to the person on the other end. I had even forgotten that those things could be used. Because for most of all that we've experienced so far, they were not working. Or claimed to not be working, at least. The vicious bickering up until now vanished like it had never happened. That silence continued until Goda finished setting the table and retreated from the room.
他に何かご入り用のものはございますでしょうか？
ありません。もう下がりなさい。
はい。それでは失礼いたします。何かございましたら いつでもお呼びください。
After listening to the sound of Godard's footsteps disappear off into the distance, everyone took a deep breath at the same time to break the tension.
本当にすごい雨ね。19人目の魔女は今頃バラ庭園の東屋で雨宿りでもしているのかしら。
どうかしらね。雨はしのげるかもしれないけど、少し肩を冷やしそうね。
謎の19人目の来訪者か。ちょいと推理小説っぽくて面白い話やな。普通この手の話は18人の中の誰かが語ってるだけで、実際には存在せんと相場が決まっとるんや。
Yep. Pretty much.
私は源氏たちが怪しいと睨んでいます。やはりどんな難癖をつけてでも片翼のわしの使用人たちは全て解雇した方が良かったんです。
まあそういうな。長く勤めてくれた恩もある。もちろん気は許せんがね。
兄さんもお父様の仕業かどうかはともかく、あの手紙をマリアちゃんに渡したのは使用人の誰かだろうという点では同意するのね。
何しろ私たちは夕食までずっと仲良く団らんをしていたじゃないか。兄弟全員にアリバイがある。マリアに手紙を渡せたのは使用人の誰かだけだ。
でも使用人の人たちもみんなベッドメイクとかで忙しくて、バラ庭園のマリアのところへ行く余裕なんかなかったって言ってたし。
おいおい、じゃあ何だってんだよ。まさか森の魔女ベアトリーチェ様がお越しになって本当にマリアちゃんに手紙を渡したって言い出すのか？
ローザ、昔は信じててすごい怖がってたものね。あんたまさかいい年してまだ信じてるの？森の魔女。
Am I supposed to read this? I thought it would be like voiced. If she did exist, I'd love for her to appear. Alright. Hey Zeku, how's it going? But no matter how much I wished, she didn't appear before me even once. She didn't save me from my crisis. Ah, these are Eva's maybe internal thoughts? She didn't save me from my crisis. Okay.
まさか。でも18人全員が自分は違うと言っている以上、本当に19人目がいるのかもって思っただけなの。
Maybe your rules are... Wait, can I see that again? No, it could apply to any of them, I guess. Okay, let's move on. Oh, no worries, Zeku, that's alright. Real life always takes precedence. And it's nice to have you even later in the stream. I appreciate you passing by.
そんなんあらへんで。第一、船で来たのはわしらだけや。謎の乗船者なんぞ、わしらは姿も見とらん。まさかこの荒海を泳いで渡ってきたっちゅうんか？ちょいと考えられへんな。
I think I had more of a reaction when Beatrice just kind of like interrupted very aggressively when I was not expecting it than to Ranoe, but yeah, it's fine. It will be immortalized in the VOD. You can check it out later.
理屈ではそうね。この隔絶された島に招かれていない客が一人隠れているというのは常識的に考えがたいんだけれど、でもどうもその可能性を捨てきれない人たちがいるみたいね。
Oh, I love this pose from Kitty. It's like thoughtful and yes, love it. Bronoe of the many cookies. Of the manly cookies. Oh my god. Hideyoshi had left it off saying that there couldn't be an ideas person, but Kiryu had sensitively picked up on the delicate atmosphere among the four siblings. Just by common sense, there couldn't possibly be any uninvited guest on this small, isolated island. How on earth would they get here, and from where? And where would they be hiding themselves? And why wouldn't they appear openly, even though they had sent a letter in their own name? None of these could be explained. But considering that none of the 4 siblings had joined in on Hideyoshi's laughing, they seemed unable to completely deny in their hearts the possibility of a 19th person.
キリエさん、誤解しないでいただきたいが、別に私たちはおとぎ話じみた魔女伝説などこれっぱかりも信じちゃいないさ。
またお父様を侮辱する話ですか？それを口にすること自体がお父様への裏切りです。
まあね。でもあのお父様ですもの。あるいは本当に。ねえ。
私は何も知らないわ。
なんやなんや。何を見学になっとるんや。どういうことや。つまり魔女伝説は笑い話でも何でもなく事実だっちゅうんか。そんなアホな。
もちろんほうきにまたがって空を飛ぶ魔女なんて誰も信じちゃいないさ。だがあの肖像画の女ベアトリーチェは本当にこの島に存在したかもしれない。
秀吉さん、魔女とかの話じゃなくてもっとシンプルな話みたいよ。つまりこういうことね。ベアトリーチェという名の愛人をお父さんがこの島のどこかに隠れ住まわせていたのではないかとみんなは疑っている。そういうことかしら。
お父様は自己を厳しく律する模範的な方です。そのような汚らわしい存在を島に連れ込むなど到底考えられません。
Natsuhi snapped at her immediately, but it looked like the 4 siblings, including her husband Kraus, didn't think that way. On the contrary, it appeared that they thought Kinzo was exactly the kind of person likely to attempt such a stunt. The existence of a mistress who had Kinzo under her spell had been whispered of since the very beginning when he had built the mansion on this island.
親父を尊敬してる夏日さんには悪いが、だいぶ昔からそういう噂はあったんだよね。親父は自分一人でこの六軒島の設備すべてを作り上げた。屋敷の中には親父しかわからない仕掛けや隠し部屋なんかがあるんじゃないかって初めから疑われてたし、俺たちの知らない秘密の屋敷がこの島のどこかに隠されてるんじゃないかともずっとささやかれてた。
そうね。地図上は小さな島かもしれないけれど、後宮家だけが住むには広大すぎる島だわ。
Zekuto, the umbrella cocktail jokes.
そして未開の森のどこかに愛人を住まわせるための隠し屋敷を作ったかもしれないと、そう思われてたのね。ずいぶんスケールの大きな話ね。
最初はそれはこの屋敷の中じゃないかと言われてた。秘密の地下とかがあったりして、そこに豪華な隠し部屋があり、あの肖像画の魔女が隠れ住んでるんじゃないかとかね。
No, I was not dissing. I was actually I am filled with respect of like just how much dedication you have to the cause of umbrella cocktails. Thumbs up, my dude. It's just, yeah. Somehow I just don't think of it and don't expect it, and every time it takes me a little bit by surprise. It makes me laugh, like just the picture of it. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I think it would like kind of lose the charm if I anticipated it.
親父の書斎の凝ったオートロックの仕掛けとかを見てると、それも納得できるだろ。
何しろ莫大な黄金をどこか秘密の場所に 秘密の仕掛けで隠したと吹聴する親父殿だ。
I don't think I have had cocktails with umbrellas, but I have had ice creams with umbrellas in them. I don't know if that counts. They were like fancily arranged in a cup and had like a little umbrella and a few other decorations around.
この屋敷とてまだ我々の知らぬ隠し部屋があったとしても驚くには足りんね。
お母様は存命中。よくお父様の不在をついて屋敷内をしらみつぶしに探し回ってたわね。ルドルフが言ったことをお母様も疑ってたのよ。どこかに秘密の扉や階段があって、その中に金髪の愛人が隠れていると信じていたわ。
It's hard to believe, but there are some actual examples in other countries of people cheating with someone over a period of several decades by making them live in a hidden attic room. And this was Kinzo with the mansion this extravagant. There was endless opportunity to suspect the existence of hidden rooms.
六軒島の魔女伝説って、私の聞いてた話では、子供たちが未開の森に入り込まないようにって言って作った怖がらせるためのおとぎ話だったんだけど、なんだかそれだけじゃないって気がしてきたわ。
まあな。何しろ後宮の屋敷以外に何もない寂しい島だからな。俺やローザがガキの頃は、そりゃ雷雨の夜に森から聞こえてくる木々のざわめきに怯えたもんさ。その木々の間から不気味な何かが様子を伺ってるんじゃないかなんて妄想。ガキだったら誰でも考える自然なものさ。だが俺やローザがそう訴えるのを聞いて、ガキの妄想だろでは済まさない連中もいたってことなんだろうね。そうだろ姉貴。
私や兄さんはこの島に隠れ住んでいる愛人が人目を忍んで出歩いていたのを偶然あんたたちが目撃したのではないかと考えていたわ。
Imagine living your life like that. Why would anyone do that? And for Kinzo, really? Let's be serious now.
もちろんお母様もね。
古い使用人たちの中にも深夜の屋敷内に肖像画の魔女が徘徊しているというような怪談が語られていた。
I have to agree, all of this collection of stories is very creepy. Even if none of it is real, it's still creepy to like entertain in your mind.
私はそれを表向き怪談として笑い捨てていたが、内心は秘密の愛人の存在を十分に疑っていた。
I also feel like the location and context fully lends itself to this, because it would actually be weird if none of these kind of stories cropped up when you are living all by yourselves on an isolated island where you only know of your own house existing, and then there's just this vast wilderness around. Of course, the human mind not being able to like grasp exactly what is there and like, you know every single centimeter and what is there, of course it's gonna start to fill the unknown with all of these imagination kind of fueled delusions, maybe. And then of course if it's been passed from like a generation to the other, there's even more fuel added to the fire to spawn these stories. So yeah, it comes with the territory, but it's still very creepy.
となると、この島に19人目の何者かがいるかもしれないってのは、全くバカバカしい話でもないっちゅうことなんか。いや、むしろどこかにいるかもしれないわけか。
The way I sense it is that, okay, maybe it wouldn't be impossible. Like they said, it is very true that they do not know every single nook and cranny of the house and every single nook and cranny of the island. But it's not like it would be impossible. I feel it's kind of far-fetched.
よくルドルフさんの言う悪魔の証明というやつになったわね。19人目がいることは証明可能だけれど、 19人目が存在しないことは証明不能。私たちはベアトリーチェという名の人物が島のどこかに潜んでいることを前提に議論を進めるべきなの？
危機管理の基本としては正しいな。いるわけがないと思うよりはいるかもしれないと用心する方がはるかにマシだろうよ。
In a way, I can see where they're going with that. It's prudent in the sense of like, let's not blind ourselves and close our eyes to possibilities. Let's take it into account, but at the same time, let's not take it as like a given.
そうやな。すまん。ちょいと不用心が過ぎたわ。ローザさん、さっきは笑ってすまんかったな。
別に気にしてないです。
Oh, poor Rosa. Like, I feel like this might be one of the very, very few, if not even the first time, that someone actually apologized for having done or said something that potentially could have upset her. Because her brothers and sisters don't care. Oh, they just do it and then don't look back. That's sweet. Hideyoshi apologized deeply for not being conscious enough of danger, despite calling himself the president of a company. Silence fell again. By preparing for the existence of a 19th person, they were accepting that some unknown person was hidden on this island. Yeah, I am definitely connected. Like that scene, I'm scarred by that scene, okay? Deeply affected by the scene. I close my eyes and if I think of it, like I can actually relive it. Like all of the details have really stuck in my mind, which is unusual because my memory is not very good and I don't have a good or like a well-developed ability to grasp so many details about something and recall them. Maybe if I re-see pieces of them, then I can easily complete the rest, but like to have it such a clear picture of it in my mind, yeah. Oh god. Yeah. Yeah, and like now every single time one of her siblings is being nasty to her, just like Eva was earlier, like my reaction was also kind of augmented by having gone through that. Ugh, jeez. And since this person might have something bad planned for them, it was only natural that it came with a certain degree of discomfort.
親父殿はかつて不意に所在を知らせずに姿を消すことがあった。何しろ静寂を好むお人だからな。わざと所在を知らせずどこかの書庫に閉じこもっているなどということは別に不思議なことではなかったよ。しかし魔女伝説が愛人説にすり替わり、やがてそれはこっそり愛人のもとへ通っているのではないかと囁かれるようになった。
末期のおふくろは疑心暗鬼の塊だったからな。突然大騒ぎして使用人たちに緊急事態だから今すぐ親父を探せなんて騒ぎ始めることがあったっけ？
あったわね。晩年のお母様はそんなことばかりだったから未だにその怖い雰囲気が拭えないわ。今だから言える。かわいそうな人だったわ。
それでその大々的な家探しの結果どうだったんや。何か見つかったか？
いいえ、隠し部屋はおろか一度たりともお父様が発見されたことはないわ。そしていつもそれからだいぶ時間が経ってからひょっこりとどこからか姿を現すの。どこかの書庫で昼寝していたとか、風に誘われて浜辺を散歩していたとかなんとか言ってね。でもそれらの場所はいずれも使用人たちが必ず探している場所。お父様がどこに行っていたのかはいつもわからなかった。当時からお父様はオカルトに傾倒していることが有名だったから。 一部の使用人たちは蝶にでも化けてバラ庭園を待っていたのだろうなんて嘘吹いていたっけ。
つまりお父さんは誰も知らないどこかへ姿を消すことが頻繁にあったのね。
ああ、どんなに屋敷中を探しても見つからないんだから、親父は屋敷の外へ行っているのだろうという見解になった。だが屋敷の外ったってそれほど大した場所はない。となると残るのは広大な森だ。それで森の魔女伝説と融合してできた仮説はこうだった。親父は実は森のどこかに隠し屋敷を作っていて、そこにベアトリーチェという名の愛人を住まわせていて、時折通っているんじゃないかってわけだ。
I mean, if it's a mansion somewhere, okay, it's static. It cannot move. And the island, okay, it's probably not super tiny, but it is limited in its surface. So why did no one ever go looking for it?
私も当時は若くてね。親父殿の浮気の現場を抑えてやろうと意気込み、表へ出る親父の後をつけようとしたことがある。もちろん失敗したよ。親父は表へ出るとき異様に人目を嫌い、誰かに見られてないか警戒していた。それこそ異常なくらいにね。だから逆に確信したよ。家人に知られてはならぬ理由で出かけているに違いないとね。
そら愛人のところへ出かけるんや。人目も忍ぶやろな。
After seeing Hideyoshi nod and say yes, yes, as though this was quite obvious, Eva got a little sullen.
まあとにかく西洋かぶれのお父様が自分の夢をまるでスケッチブックに描くみたいに実現したのがこの島なのよ。すべてがお父様の思い通りの島。愛人を住まわせる隠し屋敷があっても何の不思議もない。
Eva's words spoke for what all of the siblings had come to think. For a while the room returned to silence again and everyone listened to the sound of the wind and rain. Was there a hidden mansion on this island, and had Kinzo's mistress been living there in hiding for a long, long time? I mean, not to, beat a dead horse, but just to reiterate on this a little bit, what kind of life would that be? Like, you're completely isolated from the world, completely isolated from other humans. You have to make sure you are not seen by the few humans who are still here, and all of this for the sake of just being someone's mistress? Like, you're not even his number one. it's I don't know. Every one of them had thought that they were being too suspicious and had refrained from saying it for the longest time, but it had been a common opinion that everyone shared. Kirie, who had been listening the whole time with her eyes closed, spoke to no one in particular.
そのお父様の愛人の噂はいつ頃から？
この島に引っ越してきた当初からだから、あれこれ30年くらい前だな。何しろ隠し屋敷の工事なんて俺たちが島に来ちまったら無理だろう。人とか機材の出入りがあるもんな。すぐにバレちまうさ。だから可能だとしたら俺たちが引っ越してくる以前、多分俺たちがまだ小田原に住んでいた頃にこの屋敷の工事と一緒に済ましていたんだろうよ。
お父様は家族生活と愛人との生活の2つを両立させようと最初から想定していたと考えるのが妥当なんでしょうね。多分愛人との関係は小田原時代にまで遡るでしょうし。
だろうな。親父殿が言うように後宮家復興の軍資金となった莫大な黄金が彼女によってもたらされたとするなら、小田原時代にはもう信仰があったと見るべきだろう。莫大な黄金を貸し付けられるだけの信頼関係だ。どれほどの古い縁か想像もつかんね。
おそらく お父様が事業で成功する上で何か貴重な助言をしてくれたのでしょう。それに恩を感じ、その人物が黄金を与えてくれたというような言い方をしたと考えるのが自然です。そうと考えれば、その後も親交があったのは当然でしょう。それはおそらく愛人というただれた関係ではなく、後宮家の危機を救った恩人としてに違いありません。
夏木さんの言うのも一理あるかもわからんな。だが仮にそうでも隠し屋敷を作って住まわせるってのはちょいと行き過ぎた話やろな。恩だけでは計れん感情があったんとちゃうか。
まあ全ては憶測だ。第一、その隠し屋敷は誰も見つけたことがねえ。
夏日 went full copy
兄貴はこの島をリゾート開発する気なんだろ。その際にひょっこり見つかるかもしれねえぜ。案外そこに黄金もあったりするかも
な。Didn't he already start doing something? Maybe I caught that wrong in the first episode, but I had this feeling that he had already started doing something, but it wasn't finished or it just wasn't ready to be opened to the public and he needed more money to get it there or whatever.
お前は六軒島を宝島か何かだとでも思っているのかね。
とぼけないでよ。兄さんがリゾート開発と称して島の全域調査を計上しようとしてたのを知ってるのよ。例のトラブルのごたごたでできなくなっちゃったそうだけどね。
なんだか知らんが誤解だな。島の調査はリゾート化の第一段階として極めて当然のことだ。
Kraus tried to play dumb, but it was plainly obvious to his siblings, who knew him so well. Kraus was definitely sure of the existence of a hidden mansion. And under the pretense of opening a resort, he had been investigating the island in detail, searching for a clue as to the location of the hidden gold. He built the guest... Oh yeah, the guest house, true. You're right. They couldn't tell whether that conviction was just him overthinking things or whether it was based on some physical proof. However, if Kraus, with all his guile, was convinced, then the other siblings were similarly convinced that there must be a sufficient basis for it.
森に魔女が住んでるっちゅうのはそのまんまおとぎ話やが、森の中に誰も知らない屋敷があって金髪の姉ちゃんがひっそり隠れ住んどるっちゅうのも十分おとぎ話やな。
そうね。シチュエーションだけだったらまるで童話か何かみたいね。ローザ、そういうの好きでしょ。
Oh god. There we go, picking on Rosa again.
まあね。
この島に屋敷を建てた頃は親父殿の特に全盛期だ。金に物を言わせてどんな妄想も実現しただろう。森の中にひっそり佇む魔女の屋敷。親父の好きそうなシチュエーションだ。
だな。オカルトチックというかメルヘンチックというか親父の趣味って気がするぜ。
On this island, which the Ushiromiya family had lived on for 30 years now, a hidden mansion that no one knew about had been quietly built, and within there lived a witch known only by her portrait. Even this hard-to-believe story might not be completely delusional, considering all of Ginzo's strange habits and his vast wealth. But if he meant to keep this secret, right, and nobody was to find out about it, why the heck did he have the portrait just blatantly displayed? There's something else there. It doesn't make sense.
お父さんがそういう夢を思い描いて隠し屋敷を建てることは不可能じゃないかもしれない。でも現実的な話、その隠し屋敷に愛する女性を不自由なく何十年にもわたって住まわせることなんて可能なのかしら。
さあ、愛さえあれば可能なんじゃない？
愛する女性が健やかに過ごせるような設備よ。それもお父さんなりのね。それはたとえ規模が小さかったとしても、趣向を凝らした快適な邸宅に違いない。そしてそれを維持するには、電気、ガス、水道、 あるいは身の回りの世話に人間も必要かもしれない。
There she goes.
食事の世話だって大変でしょうね。衣服や化粧品、日用品。女の身の回りは簡単じゃないわ。それだけのものを家人にも使用人にも悟らせずに維持することって可能なのかしら。
そこまで言われると確かに弱いな。
Very good, Kitty.
だがそれでも親父ならやってのけるかもしれんという気持ちは残る。何しろあの親父だからな。
Ah, okay, okay. I don't know why I had gotten this feeling that it had been there for a longer time. Okay.
そうね。
But at the very least, he had been talking about her, right? That's why everyone was even suspecting a mistress, because he kept mentioning her. But if you want to keep it a secret, why would you let anyone in on any hint?
あのお父様だものね。
お父様はやり遂げることは何があってもやり遂げます。常人には難しいから無理だろうという理由はお父様に関してだけは当てはまらないでしょう。
親父殿に関してだけは見くびらん方がいい。親父の狂気は常人の思考では理解にも及ばん。
I wouldn't put it past the Ushiromiya Kinzo, as long as that word could accompany his name. A considerable amount of credibility dwelled in any story, no matter how absurd. However, that didn't shake the importance of what Kiria had said. This was different from stealthily raising a kitten in a cardboard box and keeping it a secret from your parents. Taking care of a person in secret over a period of 30 years would be an incalculably massive task.
お父さんの黄金伝説は六軒島を取得する前からや。となると、その愛人との縁は30年以上ということになるな。ってことは今いくつなんや。下手をしたらわしらと同じかそれ以上の年齢とちゃうか。体にもボロが出る年頃のはずや。どんな屋敷か知らんが人目に触れんようなほとんど軟禁に近い生活はそう快適とは言えんやろな。
That, yes, that.
そうね。お父様が語るベアトリーチェについての話が正しいなら、その縁は30年以上。当時は魅惑的な若い女性だったかもしれないけど、今は私たちと同格のタフな食えない女と考えるのが妥当でしょうね。手紙の内容からも、それは容易に想像できるわ。
お前が言うか。
What's that supposed to mean? Klaus laughed as though blind to his own shortcomings. Of course, Eva was offended, but she didn't strike back.
よせよ、兄貴。そして俺たちの想像が本当なら、親父の遺産問題に彼女は胸を張って参加したいはずなんだ。
I like how they deconstruct tropes that are typical for this kind of genre. Like in most fiction, you go like, yeah, sure, hidden mention, whatever. But here's like, this is the real world, and that's stupid. Yeah, yeah, pretty much, pretty much.
何しろ、お袋と違い、相思相愛だった可能性が高いからな。本人には愛人の自覚と同時に。正妻としての誇りもあるかもしれない。
それはお母様への侮辱にあたりますよ。
ああ、すまん。だが親父とおふくろが親戚の長老たちによる政略結婚だったことは誰もが知ってる。だからこそ親父に愛人がいてもおかしくないと確信できるわけだがな。
The family sank after the Great Kanto earthquake, and Kinzo was set up as the Ushiromiya family head against his will. However, in the beginning he was influenced strongly by the elder relatives, who treated him like a puppet, while they pulled the strings. He wasn't permitted to decide anything by himself, not even his marriage partner. And by his meeting with the Golden Witch Beatrice in those unhappy days, Kinzo's legend of the gold was quickly embellished into something dramatic. In other words, it could mean that Kinzo met with a woman he really did love. If she also knew his whole story, then even if they weren't marriage partners, it wouldn't have been odd for her to consider herself his true wife, inside her heart. This I do not disagree with. It's just the whole premise of living in hiding all by yourself in an isolated island, fully dependent on this man to care for you. If this is really it, then this person must have been, at the very, very least, just a little bit delusional herself. Which, birds of a feather flock together, right? It wouldn't be impossible if that really were it. Like, for two delusional people to kind of like find each other. But still, there's just too much of it that needs to be pushed to a limit or an extreme that I don't feel comfortable in accepting for it to actually coalesce into a real thing. Or like into a thing that is possible in reality. And now the person registered as his true wife was already dead.
となると、財産権どころか家督争いにも食い込む気満々ってことになるで。
なるほどな。この手紙の趣旨が少しだけ見えてきたよ。碑文の謎を解く者に家督を。そういう意味か。
仮にその愛人が後宮家に序列を得ていたとしても、その序列はお父様の血を直接引かない以上子供に劣る。つまり序列はローザより一つ下ね。とても家督争いに加われるようなレベルじゃないわ。
そういうことか。魔女の碑文を解けば序列に関係なく家督が告げる。つまり全く可能性のないベアトリーチェにとって最も有利な条件ってわけだ。
Let's not put it past Kinzo to have a hidden mistress in a hidden mansion. Alright, I'm just saying, if that is the thing, then the mistress might be a little, or should be a little cuckoo herself. Because I can't imagine a sane person going along with it. I just can't. All of the Power Rangers. Yeah. Yeah, but basically this is not I wouldn't put it past him. I'm just saying that this coalescing and actually being something that went on for decades goes quite a little bit past, like beyond him. So it's not just dependent on him, it's dependent on so many other factors and other people. And that's where I kind of hit this wall of not fully being able to go that far with my thought and imagining it happening. That's all. So the issue is not Kinzo himself, it's just all of the other things that need to come together. Which in my mind they don't. But who knows, maybe I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying, and I don't know what all of this is supposed to be. So let's move on. The revival of the Ushiromiya family had been made possible by the gold Beatrice had bestowed. In other words, the credits belonged to her. She had built that wealth together with Kinzo, so it was natural that she would have thought of herself as the one who should inherit it. It would also be natural for her to despise the thought of giving a single cent to the children of the wife Kinzo had never loved. Yeah, this I can agree with. This follows. It's alright. In terms of, like, logic.
ずうずうしいにも程があります。仮に愛人が実在したとしても、当主継承権を争うなど、身の程をわきまえぬ暴挙です。なんという身の程知らず。
I mean, if she had been a mistress for decades, then this, I would say this would be right up her alley. No? Understandable, but still kind of fair to the kids. Yeah, I don't disagree with that either. I'm not saying it's fair. Yeah. Natsuhi turned red, her fists quivering. There were also complicated circumstances behind her entry into the Ushiromiya register. Those who knew that understood more or less why she was so angry for the sake of Kinzo's dead wife.
まあ、その暴挙のおかげで私たちにも公平にチャンスがあるわけなんだけどね。それにお父様はこの暴挙を黙認されている。後宮家を継ぐのは愛人ベアトリーチェか、愛はなくとも血を受け継ぐ私たちか。
It makes more sense than, yeah, Kinzo is just being cruel for fun is the important point, I guess. Yeah.
それを争わせて確かめたいというのでしょうね。
As Eva giggled roguishly, Kraus shrugged his shoulders and looked away.
でも、その条件を向こうが出してきたということは、向こうは十分な賞賛があるということじゃないのかしら。
それもそうや。第一、ベアトリーチェはあの手紙の文面通りなら、お父さんの顧問錬金術師、つまり黄金の管理者や。その隠し場所を知っていても何の不思議もないやないか。こらひどい話やで。答えを知っている謎々を出してきたも同じや。これでシャーシャーと現れて、これが答えや、家督はいただきやで、なんて言われたら、わしらすべてかっぱらわれちまうわ。
そうね。謎々の出題者は常に正解を知っているものよ。これは私たちから全てを奪うために作られた罠の可能性が高いわ。
そこまで考えると、そもそも彼女が本当に黄金を持っているかどうかは怪しいと思わんかね。なぜ我々にその存在を教える。黙って着服すればよいもの。
確かにおかしな話だな。
Indeed, it was just as they said. If the epitaph showed the way to where the gold was hidden, why would she challenge them to try to solve it? If they actually did solve it, wouldn't the gold all be stolen? Could it be that this person was trying to stir the siblings up so that they tried to solve the epitaph and would then snatch it up before they did solve it? That was a very reasonable guess.
いいえ、チェス盤をひっくり返して考えれば、黄金を実際に持っている可能性は低くないかもしれない。
どうしてそんなことが断言できるのよ。
待て姉貴。キリエ、続きを話してくれ。どうしてそう思うんだ。
だって私たちは魔女の碑文なんていう謎々の答えを教えられたくらいで、本気で後宮家の家督を明け渡す気？謎々の答えに感服して降参を？
そらまあ、それもそうやな。謎々の答えを教えられたくらいで、わしらがあっさり降参して家督をはいどうぞと渡すかっちゅうたら、そら甘い話やな。
当然です。後宮家の家督をそんな程度のことで譲ることがあるわけがない。
そういうことよ。いくらベアトリーチェが一方的にこんなゲームを提案しても、そして見事その答えを示してみせたとしても、私たちは家督を素直に譲るわけもない。つまり私たちがこのゲームに対等な条件で挑まなくてはならないという、このゲームは成立しないのよ。
そうだな。負けた時、家督を譲ることに強制力を持たせなきゃこのゲームは成立しない。
その強制力というのはどういう意味だね。我々を鎖で縛って家督を譲るよう脅迫でもしようというのかね。
なるほどね。わかったわ。私たちが喜んで家督を放棄したくなるようにすればいいわけね。なるほど。ならば確かにベアトリーチェは10トンの黄金を持っていなければならない。
そうか、わしにも分かったで。つまり取引っちゅうわけやな。
どういう意味ですか？取引？何を？
後宮家の家督と隠し黄金をよ。ベアトリーチェはきっと10トンの黄金の所在を明かし、それで後宮家の家督を買収するつもりなのよ。
バカバカしい。栄光ある後宮家の家督をお金でやり取りしようというのですか？冒涜です。後宮家への冒涜です。
怒らずに聞いて。その栄光ある後宮家には今どの程度の財産があるの？私たちはそんなにも裕福なの？
裕福の定義とは財産で決まるのではありません。心の持ちようで決まります。私たちの財産状況が一体何の。
Kraus interrupted Natsuhi as she started to go on emotionally. In this situation, the more she went on emotionally, the worse it would actually sound for them.
私はともかく、お前たちの状況は芳しくないと聞いているよ。
あら、そう。兄さんの財政状況だって相当に芳しくないと聞いているわよ。次々担保に入れて新しい博打の掛け金にして、負けを認めないために次々新しい博打に手を出して、内情の話をしたらこの中で兄さんほど火の車の人間は存在しないわ。どれだけ損失を出してんのよ、兄さんは。才能ないのよ。
誰の才能がないというのですか？言うにことかき。
Natsuhi became indignant once again, but Kraus raised his hand again and interrupted her.
多少の誤解があるようだ。ビジネスは経過で判断できるものではない。私のような長期的視野でのビジネスともなると、時に短い単位期間では一見大きな損失を出しているようにも見えるものだ。
兄貴、裏は取れてんだぜ。今は見栄を張ってる場合じゃない。つまりキリエはこう言いたいのさ。俺たちは全員が全員金に困ってる。そしてベアトリーチェは10トンの黄金を持っている。
One thing that I just don't really, maybe I forgot, because my memory is bad, but why are they so set on the 10 tons of gold being real when at the same time they're trying to deconstruct the whole story of the witch into something more realistic, like a mistress or whatever? So there's just this random mistress who just happened to have 10 tons of gold? Like, why is that a point that is never contested?
ベアトリーチェは自分だけがありかを知る10トンの黄金で私たちに家督を売らせるつもりなのよ。10トンの黄金の価値はどのくらい？ざっと見積もって20億？いえ、200億ね。これだけを積まれたら私たちは歓喜して彼女を次期当主に認めるわ。
Yeah, I know. I know, and I think it's alright from a logic point of view to assume that maybe she has some resources, but they're very specific. She has 10 tons of gold. Why are you so convinced? Particular about 10 tons. But okay. The scene returned to silence. Even the rain and the wind sounded louder. That was probably also the sound of the windstorm that disturbed the insides of their minds.
冗談じゃないわよ。多少お金を積まれたくらいでどこの馬の骨とも知れない女に家督を譲るなんて。
I mean, if it were the right amount of money that you need, I'm pretty sure you'd do it.
アホ抜かせ。もともとお前に家督なんぞいかんやないか。わしらは何も失わずに金だけをもらえる話やで。
There it is.
そら損得感情は必要やろが、聞くに値する話や。
They knew that much of the Ushiromiya family assets had been eaten up by Kraus. The dregs that remained of that inheritance versus the compensation for being accepted as the head that Beatrice would pay. It was a shame, but honestly the former was less enticing than the latter.
まあ、4等分とはならねえだろうな。 次期当主を降りることになる兄貴に取り分が多くなるのはやむを得ねえだろうよ。羨ましい話だぜ。
あなた、金額の問題じゃないでしょ。不甲斐ない弟たちはお金で後宮家の栄光を売り払うつもりなのですよ。ここで長男の威厳を示さずして何とするのです。
夏希、しばらく黙っていなさい。
あな
たこりゃクラッとくる話だぜ。俺たちは兄貴から2億半ずつ引っ張ろうと思ってた。もし魔女様が俺たちに10トンのうちの1割も弾んでくれたなら、
20億ね。
ああ。俺たちは当初の見積もりの10倍も弾まれちまうことになる。そんだけあれば俺たちは十分だぜ。どうせ後宮なんて名前に未練はねえんだ。喜んで売っ払ってやら。
10トンすべてを提供してくれるかはさすがに川山用だとしても、なるほど、私たちにとって魅力的な話になるわね。私たちはベアトリーチェなどというよそ者を弾き出すために兄弟同盟を組もうとしていた。しかし彼女の目論見がこうならば、私たち兄弟の団結はバラバラにされるわ。ええ、今こそはっきり断言できる。ベアトリーチェの手紙の目的は私たちの結束をかき乱すことなのよ。
If the three younger siblings, who were never going to have any connection with the succession of the headship in the first place, were paid enough money to satisfy them, they would happily accept Beatrice as the next head. So every obstacle to her headship would be removed, except for Kraus. In that case, the negotiations would be one-on-one between her and Kraus. He tried to look strong, but Kraus's financial and political situation was extremely weak. He did bluff in front of his siblings, but on the inside, he was probably thinking that it might be alright to enter negotiations depending on the sum of money involved. In order to bury his losses, Kraus had taken advantage of the fact that Kinzo had shut himself up in his room and had embezzled Kinzo's personal assets. Therefore, when Kinzo died and the inheritance was distributed, Kraus would be held to account for that. But if he gave up his seat as the head to Beatrice, she would also receive the rights to the assets, and as a result, the distribution of the inheritance to the siblings would not occur. In other words, oh, sorry, I pressed the button by mistake. In other words, Kraus's embezzlement might not have to be made known to the other siblings. Ooh, tempting! I see. Of course, the siblings were frightened of Kinzo, but it was doubtful whether they still actually respected him as a father. By this time, they each had their own families, their own wealth, and their own lives. If they were paid enough money in exchange for Rokenjima, the wrecked remains of Kinzo's dreams, there was a significant possibility that they would relinquish the Ushiromiya family name. In other words, Beatrice's victory was already guaranteed in this game. Not as the winner of Beatrice's game, but as the winner of Kinzo's game. Kinzo had put up the epitaph, and to this day, no one had been able to solve it. So Beatrice had solved it. In other words, this is less of a game and more like Beatrice's declaration of victory. However, Kiria still felt something was slightly out of place. If this was a declaration of victory, Beatrice would only have to display the gold openly and state that she would buy the family headship. And yet, even at this late stage, she was explicitly telling the siblings to try to solve the epitaph. Why had she set up this new game, where she agreed to hand over all of the gold and the right to succeed the head to the person who solved the epitaph? Kiria tried flipping over the chessboard several times, searching for the best strategy that might have guided Beatrice to this line of thinking. In the end, she reached a single conclusion.
おごりなのかしら、あるいは遊び？
何の話？
Or both together.
魔女は気分を解いてみろと私たちに挑戦状を送ったわ。どうせ解けないだろうと高をくくってるでしょうけどね。でも何万分の1かの確率で私たちが解いてしまう可能性もあるはず。何しろ ここにはお父さんの血を引く子供が4人もいるのよ。出題者の血縁者が4人も揃い、財産を奪われまいと死に物狂いで知恵を出し合ったなら、偶然にも謎が解けてしまうこともあるかもしれない。
The reason the witch had a superior position on the negotiations compared to the siblings was that only she knew the location of the hidden gold. But if that hiding place was exposed to someone other than her, the witch's superior position would crumble.
つまり、魔女の手紙に書かれている挑発文は、ベアトリーチェにとってリスクにしかならないのよ。確かに、兄弟の連帯を分断するという効果はあったけれど、それを狙うためだけに、わずかとはいえこのようなリスクを
？Yeah, I have the same feeling. Like there's something else deeper under the surface layer that maybe wasn't even touched upon so far. And I'm very curious if we get to see what it is.
私は不用心だと思う。でもね、ある種の感情を念頭に置いたとき、このリスクは理解可能になるのよ。
それがおごりだというの？
ええ、そうよ。圧倒的な優位に立つと人はおごるわ。すると敗者に対しその優位性をひけらかすために微小なリスクをわざと背負うことがある。適度なリスクは勝利の喜びを引き立たせるスパイスだもの。リスクなき勝利ほど退屈なものはない。
わかるわ。私もそういうの好きだもの。よくわかるわ。
ベアトリーチェの手紙の真意をもっともらしくいろいろと解釈してみたけれど、実はこれが真実かもしれない。あの手紙の裏に潜む感情はおごり。
おごり。
Sorry, I pressed a bit fast.
難解な碑文がお前たちに解けるものかと私たちを見下して威張り散らしたいのよ。案外ひょっとすると碑文はお父さんじゃなく彼女が作ったのかもしれないわね。
上等じゃないの。碑文の謎が解けるかですって。
もしも解いたなら私を当主にしてくれるのね。
There she is.
解いてやる。魔女の挑戦を受けてやるわ。他の間抜けな兄弟たちに解けるものか。私一人が解いて、私こそが後ろ宮家を引き継ぐにふさわしいということを証明してやるわ。
その挑戦乗ったわ。私が謎を解いてやる。
Okay. Go, Eva. Ah, wow. Okay, we're here. Or not. No, we are.
なるほどな。魔女じゃなく、ベアトリーチェという名の愛人が島に存在していたわけか。つまり、人間は18人以上いる。ということは、18人全員に不可能だから魔法犯罪であるという図式は崩せるわけだ。
Isn't that a little bit too easy to just, like, haven't we been here before? Like, just pushing things onto a 19th person just for the ease of it? It's
これ
kind of
は
like
大
not
きい
it.
情報だぜ。
失礼いたします。マトラ様、紅茶とクッキーはいかがですか？
Beato's butler, who called himself Ronoe, appeared out of nowhere in particular. Placed upon the silver tray that he held was a plate filled with delicious-looking steaming black tea and cookies. I really didn't like this guy's smile. For some reason, it doesn't look like a smile used to warmly greet a guest. It feels like he's making fun of me for some reason. I don't know whether he really takes me for an idiot or whether it's just a joke or something, but it's really irritating me.
いらねえよ。俺は今取り込み中なんだ。放っておいてくれ。
おやおや、それは美味しく焼けたクッキーなのに、とても人間ごときにはもったいないくらいに素敵に焼き上がった。それは素敵なクッキーなのに。
気が向いたら食ってやるぜ。その辺に置いて。 とっとと失せな。
さようでございますか。それではそのようにいたしますよ。冷めてからお召し上がりになって焼きたてを召し上がらなかったことを存分に後悔なされると良いでしょう。
いちいちうるさいやつだな。
I wouldn't trust any food or drink that is manifested in whatever this place or dimension is, okay? Like I said, I am very much scarred by Rosa's experience from 2 streams ago. No thank you.
まあ、耳元で気色悪くケラケラ笑うベアトのやつよりゃ数段マシだがよ。
いえいえ、まったく。お嬢様の笑い声は時折実に品がありません。それを聞くたびに、なぜ私ほどの高貴な悪魔が
The meta world, okay. I will call it that from now on. Thank you.
あのようなものを主にしなければならないのか。理解に苦しむのでございますよ。
変なやつだな。そんなに嫌なら使えなきゃいいだろうが。
それでもなおお使いするのが家具の喜びなのでございますよ。それでなくては家具は務まりません。それはさておき、ゲームの方はいかがでございますか。先ほど良い情報を見つけたようなことを言われ、お喜びになられていたようですが、さてさて、どのような朝知恵が思いついたやら。
As Renoa made fun of me and giggled, he followed my earlier words to the letter and placed the black tea and cookies somewhere arbitrary nearby.
お方、19人目の存在に自信を深めたからでございましょう。よろしければ、ぜひご考説をお聞かせ願いますか。
ああ、いいぜ。どうせベアトの前で改めて言うしな。隠す必要もないさ。いいか、この島に隠し屋敷があって、愛人を住まわせていたらしいんだ。
Oh man, Butler, why are you just immediately jumping on this?
となりゃ。俺を苦しめてきた18人なのか19人なのかって疑問は簡単に
Yeah, sure, that would be so nice. Tie a bow around it, isn't that too easy?
バトラ様は魔女を否定するくせに、18人の中にも犯人を求められないダブルスタンダードの袋小路に自らを追い込まれました。
Yet another long conversation about the 19th person. It's okay. I had braced myself for it ever since you mentioned it, so okay.
18人の誰かを疑うことだ。18人全員のアリバイはそう簡単には揃わない。
How would you jump there if Battler's reasoning is false? Genuine question, Superstore. I don't know if I can have a proper answer for you. I'm just saying things how I feel them right now, and like after all of the conversation that the siblings had, or like the entire conversation they had earlier on the possibility of there being a mansion and a mistress and whatever, and throughout that conversation I expressed my distrust of certain points in their logic where I don't feel like that kind of flows or would work. I'm not convinced. But he is convinced. He's like, oh yeah, great, the 19th person exists. And I'm like, I think as hard as it may be, that it's one of the 18, and it's very hard to pinpoint exactly which one right now because I don't think we have enough information to do that. Maybe we're not even supposed to have enough information to do that, or maybe there are some hints that I didn't pick up on, or there's like a lot of dots to connect to actually get to pinpoint someone. But I have the feeling it's just too easy to have someone external from the group and be like, okay, that's the bad guy. It's too easy. It has to be one of them, as difficult as that may be. That's how I'm feeling right now. That's all right. Don't give up, it'll be very interesting after the conversation is over. Oh god. I don't know what very interesting is. It's a good answer? Okay, I try. It's also very hard when there's sides of the 18 that I have seen and liked. right? So I feel like I have developed some sort of bond or connection or just a love for some of them. So it's gonna break my heart in a freaking billion pieces if it's them, right? But I have to be realistic, right? And not go on the emotions, but yeah. Now this is the big thinking content I'm coming here to enjoy. And I gotta say, I probably am a little bit influenced, just a little bit, because I finished reading and then there were none. And not only did I finish reading it, I am now damping a little bit into the spark notes about it, more specifically the analysis of the thing, because I am completely disconnected from the mystery genre. I don't know much about it, so I read the novel, but I don't know where to place it or how to pinpoint certain things in it that are special or different from other novels. So I'm just reading the analysis to kind of like educate myself on like, what did I just read? And it's very interesting. Yeah, it's very interesting. And it's kind of shaping my thinking a little bit, I guess. And it's also very, very hard to not kind of like conflate a little bit or like see parallels, because there's so many things that are similar in the two setups. Like, I mean, come on. I was reading the first few chapters and I was like, what am I, what? That's fantastic, will absolutely help you in the long run. Okay, great. I did my homework, okay? Be proud of me. Alright. Okay, but for now, let's just maybe finish the scene and like leave it there for tonight. And we can delve into more sleuthing and detective work maybe next time.
常に一人くらいはアリバイの脆い人間が生まれる。俺はそいつを生贄にすることで常に魔女を否定し続けることもできるだろう。しかしそれは断固拒否する。ああ、ダメだぜ。全然ダメだ。18人はみんな俺にとって親たちや親戚たちやいとこたち。
Right? That's why it's hard.
そして真面目だったり面白かったりする頼もしい使用人の人たちだ。俺はその人たちの誰を生贄にすることも許せない。かつて俺はその決意があやふやだった。だからその心の弱さをベアトに突かれたんだ。
自らの弱点を認め理解する。なかなかできることではありません。バトラ様は19人目が存在する説を槍にする。槍というよりは盾でしょうかな。いずれにせよこれまでのゲームでの無策と違い、戦い方に指針を持たれるのは劇的飛躍と申せましょう。これでバトラ様は敬愛する18人を疑わずに存分に19人目を疑い、人間犯人説を追求できるわけでございます。
そういうことさ。
I mean, I'm not necessarily opposed to exploring this avenue as well, because as it was mentioned earlier in the conversation with, of the adults, it is the sane way to go about it, to consider all possibilities and not fully 100% dismiss something and just like not look at it at all. So I'm down to like kind of hypothesize about it. I just don't feel like that if that is it, if there's just like this 19th mysterious person who did all of this, it would be so disappointing, right? It would just be like, I don't know, lazy. Speaking from a more meta level of enjoying and experiencing the novel, that would be like, oh, such a letdown. That's all I'm saying. That's why. Anyway, we'll see.
最初のゲームのカノン君が殺されたボイラー室とか、他にも19人目が存在していたなら、迷う必要なんかないトリックはいくつもある。
In the very first game, Kanon-kun had been killed in the boiler room. One might think that he was attacked by Kumasawa-san, who had gone down into the boiler room with him. Or maybe that someone who had appeared to be dead earlier was actually faking and had ambushed Canon-kun in the boiler room. Either way, it was a move that forced me to suspect one of the 18. However, by simply proposing that a 19th person exists, there's no longer any need to suspect one of the 18 for that murder in the boiler room. Battle thinking about the culprit, please don't be Gora, please don't be Gora. Why? Because he makes delicious food.
Sumari, 18人の誰にも無理だから、イコール犯人は魔女という図式だけは否定することができるわけさ。
How nice would that be? You know, roll the credits and let's all go home. The mystery is solved. Using this argument, we can take, for example, the question which has been raised once again in this game: who gave Maria the letter? And come up with an easy explanation. Even if all 18 people have alibis, I can easily explain everything by saying that the 19th person visited her and gave her the letter.
ふむふむ。とても良い一手だと思いますよ。私だったらどう切り返しましょうか。たとえバトラ様が理解されたとしても、未だに弱点は健在。18人攻めは有効な手でしょうね。バトラ様の守りがどの程度か確かめる意味でも、改めてそこをつくのも面白いかもしれません。
ならどう来る？悪魔の執事。
バトラ様が刺された19人目の駒を迎え撃つのが妥当でございましょう。バトラ様は19人目にお会いしておりませんね。19人目が存在する証拠をお願いできますかね。
あめえぜ。もちろんその指し手で来るだろうことは読んでいる。
それは受け手をお願いいたします。
魔女だの悪魔だの、お前らにこれほどふさわしい一手はないぜ。それがこいつ、悪魔の証明さ。
When we humans are accused of something, we always counterattack by saying, to show some evidence, because that's a human move. But I'm fighting with a witch. I'm taking part in a battle with someone who isn't human, and some moves exist which can only be used in a game against a witch. There are cheap moves, and that's what this devil's proof is. Therefore, evidence is unnecessary. Let's take the assumption that there is a hidden mansion on Rokkenjima separate from the Ushiromiya family mansion, and that a woman named Beatrice is living there. In order to prove this, one must find this mansion and actually bring Beatrice out of it. That's called actual proof in the human world. However, if we follow the rules of the devil's proof, you can't disprove that she exists, even if there's no evidence that she does. Because it's impossible to prove that something doesn't exist. That's right, this devil's proof, which tormented me so much before, I finally managed to use it to my own advantage. Did you though? I'm not sure if I followed that. Those guys were always trying to force me to accept the existence of the witch by using the devil's proof. That was because in response to Beato's professions that witches do exist, I physically could not offer any proof that witches don't exist. That's why I have been subjected to this nonsense that witches exist and why I have been able to counterattack. Okay, I think I see where he's going with it. And that's why I'll flip over the chessboard right now. If I can't disprove that witches exist, then that means, if I suggest that a 19th human exists, you can't disprove that either. In other words, the enigmatic mistress in question is craftily hiding herself, so it's perfectly natural that you can never find her, no matter how hard you look. Yeah, because she's living in Howl's Moving Castle or something. So you can say that the 19th person can be found, equals the 19th person doesn't exist. Therefore, it is impossible to disprove a 19th person. Beato used the devil's proof to make denying her existence impossible, but this time it's become my weapon. If we can get away with this argument, then never mind the 19th person. This island could be full of people we don't know about. And even if there are 10 or 100 of them hiding, she still can't disprove that they exist, oh god. The pitting of hypotheticals and theoreticals against each other is one of my favorite parts of the VN, not gonna lie. Alright. I mean, I can understand it's a very fun mental exercise. And the last game, and the one before that, among the murder scenes that showed up, There were several that were extremely intricate. It must have taken a lot of effort to set up. It's very difficult to imagine that a single culprit could have set all of those up. However, if not just a 19 person but 10 or 100 people were hidden somewhere, that wouldn't be any problem at all. Wouldn't that be just great? It would solve all of our problems. Big brain battler. Yeah, I feel like he's gonna like fall flat right onto his face going down this path, but okay, let's follow it. If they all split up the work, they could handle any job in a short period of time. Of course, doubts will naturally arise at whether a large group of people like that could sneak around the mansion without being noticed, but those are all settled by the devil's proof. It's so convenient! Because not seeing or not noticing 100 people inside the mansion does not disprove that they were there. Even though I'm saying it myself, it's such a stupid argument that it makes me want to throw up. I know, but like if you flip it even more, wouldn't that mean that you also have to accept Beatrice's existence? Like, it cannot be that it applies for just one situation and not the other, you know? Whatever the conclusion is, it should apply logically, consistently, in both hypotheticals. So it either proves both, or we dismiss both. But you can have one true and one false if you're applying the same reasoning. No? Am I just sleepy? Am I just tired? Maybe not the 19th, but the 119th person is the true culprit. Yeah? Yeah? Ooh, what a twist! What a twist! However, it's because it's such a dirty as hell move that makes it the perfect one to use against the witch. I mean, sure, let's see how it plays out, but maybe not right now because we're running a little bit late. We're not only imagining here, but the thought of about 100 suspicious men wearing goat masks hiding in the shadows. That goes beyond funny. It makes me think of cockroaches. If you see one, it means there's 100 hiding in the shadows. Oh god, no.
まあ、へりくつまみれの暴論だとは思うぜ。
Alright. At least he admits that. Yeah. Sorry if it's like stopping it right in the middle. We kind of like followed where he's coming from, and we'll see how this plays out next time. Because it's late and I need to wake up early tomorrow. But yeah, that was that. First stream after the holiday, yay, and we start with the bang, I guess. Where's this title? I forgot how to exit the game. Right. There we are. Ah. Oh, happy to be back and happy to have you around, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah. Yeah, no problem. It was actually quite interesting. I don't know if enjoyable is the word, but it was interesting to be exposed to something that I normally wouldn't have sought out. And also I feel a little bit more cultured and educated that I have an experience with that kind of novel. So yeah, thank you for recommending it, and just generally I'm very grateful for recommending Umineko as well, because this is also another one of those experiences that I'm very, very grateful to have, and I wouldn't have sought out for myself. So it's an absolute pleasure to come here every Tuesday and Thursday and share it with you. It wouldn't be the same without you. Did you enjoy it just as a story? I mean, not as research. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if enjoyment is the proper word, because the situation was kind of tensioned and people were kind of losing their minds, and you know, everyone was dying left and right. So it's not necessarily something that I would seek out for enjoyment, but from like a logical kind of like mental riddle kind of thing, it was interesting. And yeah, I could already like pick up a little bit on things that might have been unconventional for the mystery genre that Agatha Christie did there. And then reading it in the analysis kind of like emphasized that yeah, that was actually quite an interesting thing. And I couldn't tell who it was until the very, very end. But then reading the epilogue, okay, it makes sense. But I couldn't tell. But then at the same time, if you look back, you can easily pick up on a few things that could have been hints and have come full circle. But still, it wouldn't have been easy to use them to figure it out. It was very cool from this perspective. Bad doesn't like it as a story. Yeah, I know. I also had a little bit of a like step back moment, like, wait, what's happening? As I was reading the analysis on SparkNotes, and I realized that my version of the book that I read, which I just bought off Amazon to have on the Kindle, right? I didn't get the physical book. It has been edited so that the name of the island and the poem uses soldiers when, at least in the SparkNotes, it's referred to as Indian Island, with in the poem referring to little Indians. But what I read only referred to soldiers. So that was like okay, interesting. I guess it's an adjustment to be more in line with the times. Not thinking something where people get killed for enjoyment sounds very much like that. Oh god. That's the best part of a mystery novel, rereading it to catch on the things you didn't notice before. Umineko is the same, yeah. Yeah, I can see that. But I can also see just like Umineko is like so far beyond in terms of like complexity of things. Yeah, definitely. In a way, it was quite refreshing that And Then There Were None was kind of direct and like, you know, to the point. It didn't waste time, and everything was like almost mathematically put together. The novel has been slightly edited 2 times due to, which is was normal at the time, abundant use of racist terms. Yeah, but it took me aback. Like, why did it even have to be named that in the first place? Anyway. Oh, the play has another ending. Okay, that's interesting. Not sure why, but VNs have some of the most ridiculous and complicated stories out there. It's pretty interesting. I mean, I guess it's making full use of the medium and just going crazy with it. A different fragment. All right. Interesting. I would seek that out if it's somewhere. Oh no, Pyotun. In a way, it makes me feel bad because I don't know, I feel some pressure that I have to pick up on it. But at the same time, if there was any sort of like enjoyment, or like not enjoyment, but like suspense, and you know, looking forward to the next chapter or the next part of the story, and then there were none. It was greatly fueled by me just not being able to tell who it was. And I feel like maybe that's something I would want to strive for in Umineko as well. Not strive for, but like, I wouldn't want to go seeking the truth too much, because I feel it's more enjoyable not to know and be confused. It probably comes from the fact that the most VNs are written by a single person and often don't even involve an editor of any kind, makes it less restricted and raw. Yeah, I feel that in all of the VNs that I read. Well, that's quite some dedication. I don't feel like I would go beyond just comments on stream. I feel like that is like the right amount and the right medium to express myself. I like I said, I don't want to look into it too much either. Yeah. It's actually really cool when something is lower budget, so it maybe doesn't have the highest polish or quality of execution or whatever, but you can like feel the creator so close to you because they just have this like tremendous amount of freedom and space to just go bonkers with whatever is like floating in their head, and they don't have to abide by any restrictions placed by an editor or a publisher or whatever. They're just like, here it is, here's the content of my head, there you go, you have it. as raw as possible and as genuine as possible. So I personally feel like there's a great deal of connection and enjoyment to be gotten from that when you get to experience someone's creative juices just fully at work with no restrictions. See you again. Oh god. I love budget independence are recipes for both bad and great things. Yes, I understand. I understand, but I just feel like in today's day and age, things are too curated. It's so nice to go a little bit back to basics sometimes, and especially with someone who has put thought and passion and care into what they're doing, and they didn't just like create like a chaotic mess, right? It's really cool to experience that, and you can see that not just in novels or whatever, but particularly on like indie games and stuff which have not, you know, maybe not that much effort put into graphics or whatever, but just the feel and the substance behind the story that's there. It's very nice. The good and bad parts about having money then. Like Rikishi, if he had his usual editor for Umineko, would have trimmed down the story by quite a much, probably, which might arguably be a good thing, but you would definitely also miss something. I think it's perfect the way it is, at least what I'm experiencing right now. I don't know if it's edited or trimmed down or polished in any way compared to whatever was released initially. Maybe there is it is a little bit, I don't know. But whatever I'm experiencing right now, it's fine. It's truly fine. When I first read the Steins Gate, which was the first novel that I did on stream, I picked up from the very beginning that this is gonna be a slow burn, right? It was slow. Like first stream, I barely got into the introduction or whatever. But I also, knowing the anime and kind of like the pace at which it had gone, because I've watched it multiple times, I think like 3 times. Oh man. And then seeing all of the little things in the novel, I was like, ooh, actually this is nice, and I'm fine with that. Like I think so far I have proved myself to have the patience and dedication, and I mean not just patience and dedication, but also the fact that I really enjoy this kind of thing, having gone through all of these like super lengthy visual novels and like keeping at it consistently, and being here every Tuesday and Thursday and going at it and enjoying myself. So I will do the same with Umineko and whatever we do next, because there is definitely value in that for me. I know my favorite VNs have an 8-hour intro that is completely unrelated to the rest of the game. I mean, as long as you like it, that's great. A complaint people have on Umineko is that it is too long, with very unnecessary scenes that are repeated a lot. I don't know. So I am at this point where I cannot piece together exactly who is doing what and what reality even is, or what are the rules of the game or whatever. So I cannot piece all of these things together. But I am still filled with the sense that every scene and every line has a purpose. And it's there to give some subtext that maybe you don't pick up initially, but then when probably, which is something that you could confirm maybe because you've read it before, when you go back over it, you're like, huh, that thing there, it wasn't just like there for no reason. It actually had, at the very least, some sort of nuance or throwback at something that maybe you cannot pick up on initially, but when you do come back to it, it resonates. It's a very, very long story, but I always had the standpoint that this time is needed to bring across complex themes. Yeah. Definitely. And you also have to spend time a little bit with the characters. I think one of the things that was the most challenging for me, and then there were none, was that I couldn't keep track of the characters in the beginning. There are so many of them. They were all new. And I have a really bad time learning names. Like, I need a while to remember names. And obviously, since it's a novel, I have no other thing to go by. Like, at least in the visual novel, I have their voice, I have their face or something. But in writing, and just me on the page, it was so hard to keep track of them. I kept backtracking, just like, wait, was this the same person who said that thing there? Oh no, this was the other person. Ah, okay, this is the doctor, this is the judge, this is the other whatever. Okay, right. So I kept doing that in the beginning, yeah, for me it was a bit of a struggle to get to the point where I kind of like had a good mental grasp of who was who and who was where and were doing what, because I kind of like conflated some characters together at some point in the beginning. But with Umineko, because it took so much of its time to set things up and to introduce the characters, like, I had almost no problem keeping track of who is who and learning their names. And like, you know, now whenever I just think of one, like all of these like networks of connected scenes and moments and stuff just immediately pop into my head. And I think that's actually very nice if you're in a medium that allows you this freedom. Great, let's take advantage of it and do this, because it improves the experience, at least for me. I was deeply annoyed by the writing of some episodes, but I'm fine with it now, with my interpretation of everything. Alright. Steins Gate anime would have been better if it was 4 or 5 episodes longer. Yeah, what can you do? You are correct, all of it has a purpose. I think this 19th-person conversation could have been 30 minutes shorter, but mostly I'm fine with the pacing. No, it's alright. Like I said, it's fine. I'm alright with exploring this as a hypothetical and see where it goes. see how Battler gets smacked in the face with his own logic next time. Honestly, I think pacing on media is very subjective. Some people like to take their time with the story, other people don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously, all I'm saying is based on myself, so I cannot talk for other people. I personally find value in this, and maybe there are other people out there who do, and maybe there are also other people who don't. So maybe they are not the target audience for this, and that is okay, because I also have things that I do not enjoy, and I'm not the target audience of, and so I just let them be there, and I'm here with my stuff that I enjoy. Right? That's alright. I think the amount of time that I dwell on this is part of a theme that Yukishi wants to portray in that particular scene. Basically going, theory making is quite something, isn't it? I guess. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. I'm really curious what the comeback is gonna be. It's also interesting to see this new character interact with Battler. Because before, the like mind games were just battle and battle, but now interesting. Yeah, but it is after midnight, so I really have to go. The conversation was really nice and flowing, so I wanted to take my time and reply, and also like explain what I had on my mind. I hope if any piece of that was I don't know, valuable or interesting or entertaining in any way. I love having these conversations with you, so come back for more next time, I guess. I will be here at the usual time on Thursday. Until then, take care of yourselves. See you again. Yeah, night. Love you.